Introducing Alpaca Airways' new line of package holidays to all of your favorite earthly destinations. Here at Alpaca Airways, we try our best to make sure you start your holiday without stress and a smile that'll last until you return safely home from another memorable sunny break. Our crew are the friendliest in the sky. In fact, let us introduce them to you. Starting with our lovely cabin crew, Mariana will see to all of your in-flight service needs from gate to gate across the skies of Europe and beyond, with her trusty junior cabin assistant Jack at her beck and call, who will fetch you anything you need to make your journey a pleasant one. Our flight deck crew are also second to none, almost too literally. First Officer Jim keeps a watchful eye over the instruments and can be seen providing in-flight entertainment with his pathetic attempts at courtship. You'll have to do better than that, Jim. Chief Captain Flight Deck Tusim will safely see you to your destination, fearlessly controlling the aircraft, be it through smooth skies or a tickle of turbulence. Trust us when we tell you he's no chicken. Our in-flight meal service is industry-leading with our new buy-on-board menu featuring buttered bread, bread and butter pudding, butterscotch candy, and of course, I can't believe it's not butter, for those days where the captain just needs to get on the deck. At Alpaca Airways, we offer exclusive members-only Alpaca coach seating at the front of the aircraft, allowing you access to the flight deck before takeoff and after landing to discuss anything from flap angles to marriage advice with our friendly cockpit crew. We've received accolades from literally several customers and regularly provide charter flights to high flyers such as Her Majesty Lizzie Windsor, who has described her experience on Alpaca Airways as proper banging and the absolute dog's I can't read that out on broadcast radio. We can guarantee you won't find a better deal. In fact, our flights are on average 15% cheaper than our rivals, Llama International Airlines. So don't delay, call today on 0800 737 737 015 to book your Alpaca holiday now. And remember, if it's not butter, go around until the engines splutter.
Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck to Sim live stream today. It's the 15th of September 2027, minutes past 6 here in the evening in the United Kingdom. I hope you're all doing well. Back for the first time in a very long time in a just ZIBO Mod X-Plane 11 live stream. I can't remember the last time we did one of these, about a month and a half ago. We've been doing Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 every other stream, but I thought it'd be about time that I go and do what's a little bit more familiar to me, which is to go fly the ZIBO Mod 737. I hope you're all doing very well. We've got loads of people in the chat today, loads of the members. I hope you're ready to board this Alpaca Airways flight to Pula in Croatia. Estrick says this is so cool. Abbe says, who is Lizzie Windsor? That's a long story. Llama Airlines needs to try harder, says Pablo. Yes, that's Alpaca Airways competitor, of course. But I hope you're all doing very well anyway. Here we are in Zurich. Live time, live weather. Let's zoom on into the airport here. The airport's from Aerosoft, and today we're going to go back to kind of like the roots of all my live streams, which is just nice steady pace. We're going to go through all the briefings, we're going to do all the checklists where applicable. We're going to fly an RNAV approach thing today into Pula, Croatia. It's in fact the first time we've ever streamed into Croatia, and then we're going to do a 2-sector day back into Zurich later on. We've got full ATC in both airports this evening, which is why I chose this routing. So here we are, we're on the corner of I think it's Apron A or Terminal A. Here we are. We've got Swiss Air, we've got 2 aircraft. That's a new type of aircraft I've never seen before. Thank you very much, Will Hoodwood, for the £5 high. He attack, he protect, but most importantly, Flight Deck to Sim butter the deck. Thanks a lot, Will Edward, for your generosity there. Interesting rhymes and songs we have. I like that. I might take that as my motto. Thank you very much, buddy. So here we are in Zurich on Stand Alpha 57, completely cold and dark. For some reason I couldn't get the air bridge to attach. I tried prior to the seams, it did earlier when I tested this sector, but it isn't for now. But we'll have to imagine the air bridge is attached. But yes, lovely evening here in Zurich, live weather, live time, and yeah, we should have a lovely flight, about an hour each direction to Croatia this evening. And again in Pula the weather is really nice. Good evening, so good to be back, says Jitaris. Hope you're doing very well as well. Peter Walsh, good evening, good sir. Nice to have you back. Thank you very much. Yes, I've been so busy at the moment, guys. I mean, very luckily been really busy. I did a full week's flying last week, not a single standby. This is the first kind of opportunity I've had to stream. I was busy yesterday, and then I might try and get something done the weekend, because I am on standby this weekend, so I'll be around at home anyway, but we'll keep you posted accordingly. Right, anyway, let's turn down the music here in the background and jump into the ZIBO Mod 737. There we go, completely cold dark, not touched a single thing apart from loading into the game. I just want to get rid of this little A here. It's part of the SAM pushback. It's really annoying. I thought I'd already turned it off. I think we go here, hide always. There we go. Right, let's get the show on the road. So battery on, GPU straight away on the bus, electric hydraulic pumps are on, landing gear lever. Verify is down, we've got 6 green lights, and then we check all the aircraft documentation. We're running a pre-release version of the mod, I believe. I think the latest version is 3.14.14 publicly. We're running 3.14.15c. ZIBO, I think, ran into some issues with the VNAV geometric path. He had a slight coding issue, so he's given me this version. I tested it earlier and it seemed to work flawlessly, so fingers crossed it will be all working well. That's all done up here, so let's do the fault and fire test now. Thank you very much, Brian Cooper, for the $5. Great work, Captain. Always a pleasure to be watching from sunny New York. Thank you very much, Brian Cooper. It's very, very kind of you. I guess it's just past midday there, or maybe 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But thank you very much for popping in. I hope you'll enjoy your afternoon whilst the sun sets over here in Europe. Right, there's the fault and fire test. Wheel well, engine overheat lights, illuminated overheat detector. Up we come up here. Arm the emergency exit lights. Let's get some fuel on for this sector. So here's our operational flight plan. Generated this earlier for this sector. We need a minimum of 5.7. Now, there might be a few people joining us. There is a VACC event going on in Zurich, so we'll take a little bit later, a little bit of extra fuel on the way back and also on the way there, because there's also full ATC in Pula. So I reckon an extra 30 minutes fuel. If this is a normal day, and if I was actually flying this sector in real life, I'd just ask for 5.7 tons. But let's take an extra 1,200 kilos, which is good enough for 30 minutes in the 737. So that would be 6.7. Let's request 6.7 tons of fuel. So fuel, payload, we've only got 893 kilos. Whoever flew that last would have had an interesting day. My goodness. Yeah, that was me testing the mod. That was what it was. Right, 6.7, enter. Cool for the fuel truck. Payload, we're going to use, what was it I said, 145 passengers, and I based the zero fuel weight off that for the operational flight plan. So 145 passengers, enter 12,615, and you can see the aircraft's gone down a bit on the gear. Let's start the flight leg as well. So flying wise, I've been flying every day last week. Loads are low, especially to Spain from the UK, typically averaging around 40 to 60 passengers, but I did Athens and Crete this week, and we had only 140, 150, which was positive. So yeah, the industry is still taking a bit of a hammering, but it's nice to see that some people are flying. So long as you follow the restrictions, you know, it is safe. I've been flying now for 2 months, and I don't think any of my passengers have had any symptoms or of coronavirus, or certainly myself anyway, but obviously we'll have to see what happens in the future. Right, we'll leave the faster seatbelt sign off. Remember, that only comes on once fueling is complete. Let's test the attend button. Working our way here, we check the flaps are up, the indicator position matches up. We'll do a quick takeoff config test. Warning horn sounds and the light illuminates, and let's do the cargo fire test. Looking good. And working our way down here, we're going to be on VATSIM, so we'll have VHF 1, we'll turn off VHF 2 audio for now. Rudder and aileron trim is centered, manual gear extension door is closed, all the circuit breakers are in, spare bulbs. Let's do the Mach airspeed warning test. Again, remember you need to wait a little bit for the stall warning test. There's the voice recorder, VHF 1, nav, 8 minutes on DC align. Perfect. And the circuit breakers are in, and we have started boarding. It sounds a little bit quiet in X-Plane 11 at the moment. Let's turn the volumes up slightly. There we go. How old am I? Old enough, believe it or not. She said that. Cheeky. Someone's asking for the Metar Brettles. And thank you very much to Alejandro Wainzinger, who's just joined as a member. Welcome aboard, sir. Glad you're enjoying the content so far. Anthony, it's my life. No, look what I've actually done. Well, hopefully it'll come any second. Bad timing. I've changed it to the original one, so it's no longer It's My Life. It's the original boring one. But I hope you're doing very well, Anthony, anyway. Thanks for coming in. So we've done the pre-flight safety check. We can now get the ATIS, hopefully. There you go. It's the original member ding. So we do have Zurich ATIS 125725. There we go. Let's pop that on VHF2, and oops, I just realised my sound mixer. I've got no volume turned up here on VATSIM, so give me 2 secs, guys. Open volume mixer. There we go. Unfortunately, there's no voice on ATIS though at the moment. Now, I've had some issues recently with ATIS on VATSIM, but we're definitely on the network. 125725. It's definitely the correct frequency, so if I double check this, I'll just grab the ATIS on voice here, guys. So this is the information we have at the moment. It's information Romeo for Zurich, and it's runway 28 arrival, runway 14 as well, ILS approach. Who have we got coming in here? Thank you very much to Felis for the £5 donation, very generous, sir.
Is that sound volume feature is some special plugin, or it's ZIBO mod?
Firstly, guys, may I say a massive thank you to Felis for £5 donation. He is the creator of the fantastic Felis Tupolev Tu-154. If you're up for a massive challenge, purchase that. And it's a very good value aircraft for high quality, at least, if you want some Russian fun. Felis, this is the B2 volume control plugin for X-Plane 11. It's really useful while streaming, so I can alter the volume. It's actually quite useful as well. So if you type in B2 volume control in Google, that will certainly help you there. Thank you very much, Felis, for your generosity there. So yeah, as I was saying, let's just have a little listen to this ATIS, which we can't do. I'll tell you what it says on voice. So it says, this is Zurich information Romeo, departure runway 28, runway 14 ILS approach, transition level 70, Met report Zurich at 1650 Zulu, CAV OK 28 degrees, QNH is 1020, initial contact information is Romeo, pre-departure clearance is available on text. So runway 28 for departure, that's great for us, and the QNH was 1020. Perfect, so the MFRA all set as well. It's going to be a couple of night flights, night sectors, I'm afraid, just because the nights are drawing in quite quickly now, so it's the way it is. We always like to try and fly live weather bit where possible, but I'm sure it'll look pretty spectacular, at least. There you go, that's the height at which we accelerate in the event of an engine failure, which is the MFRA of 2,400 feet, which is 1,000 feet AGL here. You can see it's getting a little bit dark in the flight deck, so let's turn up the cockpit lighting, and we'll put the dome light on as well. There we go. It's worth noticing, the first time I've actually ran ZIBO 1150 full. It's not in beta anymore, so we've updated 1150. Getting the performance benefits from that, which is great, and also no crashes, which is good. Oh, touch wood. Alejandro Wainsinger, not only have you joined as a member, you've donated $5. Very kind of you. Hello from California, excited for another 737 flight. You're on a roll with all these butters. Thanks a lot, Alejandro. Now you've done it, we'll see what we can do. Yeah, thank you very much. Do you use Vulcan? Yeah, actually, that's a point. Don't I need to select Vulcan in the settings? I probably don't even have it selected, I don't know, but it seems like the FPS is okay right now. Well, maybe it's not turned on because I'm only hitting 35 FPS, but it's certainly good enough for my stream here. Right, what I'm going to do, your generosity is all very nice, guys, but, you know, enjoy the show, and what I'm going to do is put the, mute the alerts, just so I can crack on with the procedure, because I know a lot of people sometimes say, oh, can you turn the alerts off this sector? So thank you very much for your generosity. As I always say, don't feel like you have to donate, just enjoy the show, and I'll turn that off once the after takeoff checklist is complete. That just allows me to carry on a little bit naturally here. Perfect. So where did we get to? We got the ATIS QNH 1020. We'll select terrain and airports for now. We turn up the panel lighting. This is the point now where we select and load up the FMC. We're due off in 12 minutes, guys, at past, so we're okay for time for now. Latest AIRAC is updated from Navigraph. We're in Zurich, which is Lima Sierra Zulu Hotel. We'll update our GPS position. There we are. When the iris is aligned, we'll know exactly where we are. We're going from Zurich to Croatia at Pula, which is Lima Delta Papa Lima. Flight time, as mentioned, earlier, just under an hour, around 55 minutes or so. Our flight number today is the Alpaca. The Alpaca, 2 Charlie Romeo, CR for Croatia. You see what I did there? Okay, departures runway 28. I think for runway 28 we're going to get the Gersa 2 Whiskey, because that is our first waypoint after Gersa for our en route routing. So for Gersa, Zulu 50 to Racia. From Racia, Papa 131 to Adosa. From Adosa, Lima 612 to Chi. We're going to go right over Venice today, although I think it might be dark by the time we cross over into Italy. Lima 612 Chi, Lima 614, sorry, to Labin. And from Labin, it's the Labin 2 Yankee for 09. Now, the wind's sort of favouring 27. Now, if we're lucky, we will request, if it's not too busy, straight in for 09, which will offer significant track mile shortage. You know, shorter track miles. We're always looking for shortcuts like that if it's potentially quiet. And that would be an RNAV 09, and I think the transition was via Gexi. I'm just having a little look at the arrival charts. We'll look at all that in a second as well, of course, guys. But yes, Konas Gexi is the transition we'd like today. So I'll activate that, execute. We can now do the performance. So 0 fuel weight 55.7 based off 145 passengers. Reserves, our alternate today is Treviso, which is a small airport here near Venice. It's Venice Treviso. There we are, Lip H. So the sum of these two here is your reserve fuel, which I have here. So reserves are, where is it? I've forgotten where it is. 2.7 tons. So that's the amount of fuel we need to divert from flying the missed approach into Pula and then land at Treviso, the full departure away from the airport. Land, and we should land with our final reserves intact. Cost index is 30, cruising at flight level 290 today. That's executed. We'll pop that up here on the upper overhead panel. 290. The elevation in Pula is 275 feet. 250 feet. Guys, thank you very much for pinging the... I've just had a look at chat here. Firstly, to Will Bewley, who donated £1.59. We hear you have gotten into fly walking. Are you talking about the fact that there's a lot of flies in my house at the moment, Will? As I was mentioning on Discord. Thanks very much, Will. O'Neill Rodriguez, thank you very much. How much did it cost you to get your license to become a pilot, O'Neill? That's a very interesting question. I had to take a loan out. I had to convince my parents as well that flight training, you know, to pay the fee. They took a loan out for, I think it was, well, I took a loan out for £85,000. And then the rest of it I saved myself, working 3 years at a supermarket selling chickens, which everyone finds very, very amusing. And then I finished off paying that loan after around 7-8 years of becoming a pilot. Not much disposable income when I started, but that's how I did it. And there's all different ways of doing it now. And obviously right now to become an airline pilot in this industry is brave. And I've always said to anyone that's watching in-flight training, you know, chin up. Let's hope that the European Union, certainly in Europe, and the government certainly, you know, start catering for aviation a little better. These silly little we have all these 14-day quarantines in the UK. I'm going a little bit off board here, but I know you'd be interested in hearing. We have these 14-day quarantine requirements, which I just don't think it's best suited for the industry and not the best way of doing things. How about let's do airport testing instead of just sticking people away, because they're changing it every other day, every other week. We lifted it in Portugal, then it came back in again. It's just causing so much disruption. But yes, anyway, that's my thought on it. Yes, we need to be careful with the coronavirus, but let's manage it in a bit more of an efficient way for the industry so people can travel around. Right, anyway, let's crack on with the rest of the briefing. Rant over. Topical high wind is going to be 133 at 31. ISO deviation's 5 degrees. Temperature is 28. Now, I don't have any performance data for the OPT for Zurich, so I had a look earlier. 24k full works out quite nicely. It's around 2,500 meter runway. Takeoff of flap 5. Those V speeds are good, and the trim will now set 5.75 units. Here comes the trim. Burak, if you're watching, sorry I don't have the trim noises on. I'll try and explain to you when I am trimming. And V2 we can set on the MCP 143 knots. Perfect. Right, let's go up here on the upper onto the overhead panel. So yaw dampers on. Nav transfer display switches are normal and auto. No fuel in the center tank, so we could put the main tank pumps on. Crossfeed, test, bright, dim, bright, and off. Love that. The fact that the fuel temperature represents the temperature outside. That's a really nice touch from ZIBO. It actually models fuel temperature. Utility, cabin utility, IFE, passenger entertainment switches are on. IDG switches are closed. Working way up here, panel lighting we've turned on, normal, fueling will be done by now, so seatbelt sign can come on. Window heat will pop on at this stage too. Probe heat's off for now, electric hydraulic pumps are on, pressurization system is as we'd expect it. Trim air we can pop on, auto, open the isolation valve, we've set this to pressurization mode selector to auto, nav lights to steady. Cool, right, so let's have a look at some charts for our departure today. So here is Zurich. We are currently parked on stand number 57 off Dock A. Runway 28 is here. It's a nice short taxi for us. I like short taxis and simple taxiing. Let's set the runway QDM first, which for 28 is 274. Let's pop that up here. And the courses are to 274 as well. Guys in chat as well, if you are new to the stream, I will have plenty of time to answer questions later on in the cruise, albeit quite a short flight today, but I do like to just get things cracked on here. I do occasionally pop over to see if there's any questions I can answer. Flight directors can come on as well. Mariana has popped in too. She's often on the lookout for any questions which might be of interest, so she always taps my shoulder if there's anything there I might be able to answer. Order break to... Hold on, I haven't finished setting the MCP. What's our SID? Well, I wasn't sure what runway we would have for departure, but I'm very sure it's going to be the Gersa Whiskey, so let's now select that SID. Great having Avitab back on here. Gervity Whiskey. Mariana's told me off because I keep mispronouncing Zurich. It's not Zurich with J, as Mariana keeps saying.
Embarrassing.
Zurich. Sorry if you're from Switzerland. We're departing Zurich today. Oh dear. Gersa 2 Whiskey. So here's the Gersa 2 Whiskey. It mentions here, it's an RNAV SID, SID on noise abatement, 250 below 100, lost comm procedures below us here. So routing, initial climb clearance we can expect is 5,000 feet. I've set 5,100, just because that reminds us we don't have departure clearance. And as it's RNAV, it just simply says climb straight ahead to Kilo Lima Oscar 02. I could, let's tune the Cloten VOR 1485, why not? It's a backup then for the initial turn. 1485, 1485. Straight ahead, Kilo Lima Oscar 02. We're then going to make a left turn to Brago at above 5,000. Zulu Hoto 556, 557. Asphalt 10,000 or above. RTAG, Gersa. And then that's it. So you have two airways we could depart from Gersa. So that's all coded in correctly. Then obviously brief that in a little bit more detail with our first officer. Takeoff, legs page here, order break to RTO, reset the fuel flow. I think, guys, we're looking all good. Let's get the APU fired up. And we'll tune up now Zurich Tower. It's just Tower online at the moment. Poor guy. I'm hoping he'll have some support later, because look at all the aircraft here. There's only one guy on frequency at the moment. This could be quite interesting for the guy. Let's hope he's managing okay. Let's tune up Tower. Lovely sunset flight if we get airborne soon enough. 118.1. Well, why can't I hear? I'd expected to hear people talking, but Let's just see. I can't hear anyone talking. I hope my VATSIM's working okay. Let's have a go. Tower, good evening. Alpaca 2, Charlie Romeo stand. We're on stand number 57. Information Romeo QNH 1020. Departure clearance to Pula, please.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Information Romeo is correct. For clearance, contact apron 121.75.
Apron 121.75. Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Thanks, buddy. Perfect. So it looks like apron's come online. He's just come online. Look at that. I'm glad that's working.
Yes, affirmative. Continue.
Oh, look at that. And Alpaca Airways leaving before us. We're due off in 1 minute. Perfect. APU's on the bus. Zurich ground, good evening. Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo stand 57. Copy information Romeo QNH 1020. Departure clearance to Pula, please.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, hello. Romeo correct, startup approved. Clearance to Pula via VBIT 3 Whiskey departure, then transition to Gersa, runway 28, squawk 6714.
Can you just confirm the transition for the Gersa 2 Whiskey?
It's VBIT 3 Whiskey departure and then the transition to Gersa.
VACC 3 Whiskey departure transition to Gersa for runway 28, squawk 6714, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. VACC 3 Whiskey.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, correct.
Let's have a look here. Ah, okay, so it starts
quality 2.
Off as the VACC 3 Whiskey.
Go ahead.
Could you do me a favor? Reconnect to the network, then resend the flight plan, and then hopefully I will get it.
Okay, we'll go.
So basically, it's exactly the same as you can see here, except we're not going via Brago. It's a VACC 3 Whiskey, so it just goes all the way to VABIT there, which is why.
Pushback, and we are only able for straight pushback.
So let's have a look here in the SIDS.
Bravo, that is copied. Squawk 6705.
VABIT
6705.
3 Whiskey. Runway 28, execute. And then from VABIT, we need to have a transition, so... After VABIT, it's the Gersa transition, so...
Just for a minute, please.
Let's have a little look here. On my SIDS, so transition after VABIT. Departure transition west after VABIT. My goodness, what a chart! There's so much to put in here.
Gate 49.
I want to south. Right, so, interesting. I don't know if that's selectable in the ZIBO mod. Let me just show you what I'm actually flying here.
Roger, pushback approved into Juliet, clear of inner.
That's really strange. You don't have the charts here.
Into Juliet, Swiss 93 Whiskey.
Northbound transition after VABIT, that's the one I wanted. Right, so this is the transition we're flying from VABIT to Gersa. It's a bit of a pain because I can't actually select it in the mod here. So we've got the VABIT 3 Whiskey, 28, VABIT 3 Whiskey, and what you usually find then is a list of transitions. I can't select it, so you see this routing here from VABIT to Gersa. I can't actually select that in the FMC, so you can see here I've got VABIT to Gersa, then it's going to be onward to Kellep on the airway, so I'm going to have to put these waypoints in manually, which is a bit of a pain. So, let me just have a look at the original flight plan.
Pushback approved behind the radar correction. Swiss 70 Bravo.
And see if we can select the airway at least.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it just terminates, unfortunately, at Gersa. So the Gersa 2 Whiskey essentially took us all the way to Ketib. So I'm going to have to put it in manually. Now, that's interesting, because ZIBO usually has... that's really strange, because we usually have the transitions to select it. But it was the VABIT 3 Whiskey, then the Gersa transition, but I can't select it. So I'm going to have to type them all in manually, which is a right pain. Or what I might do is be very cheeky and is when we get to Vabit, request direct to Kelip, which you wouldn't do in real life. In fact, you just put all the points in manually. Let's have a look here. No, I want the airport here. So yeah, let's just punch these in. So Vabit, then Obidu, and this is definitely the correct transition. Yes, transition routes after Vabit, so it's definitely this.
Alpaca 319 at stand 44, request pushback.
Obidu.
Alpaca 319, squawk 672.
Oh, I hope that doesn't break the mod. I know sometimes the mod's not always happy if you put waypoints in. It's accepted that. Omido.
Good evening,
Omido, good. And then RTAG.
Swiss Air 2, hello. Clearance to Brussels via Vibit 3 Whiskey departure.
Oh no, that's no. The mod's a bit broken there. Doesn't like me putting in multiple waypoints in. RTAG and then Gersa.
Swiss 2, read back correct.
So we're now 5 minutes late. Right, let's just join that up and then at least it's coded correctly now. See how it's a bit disjointed though, because the actual proper arrival took a little bit more of this, but if he wants us to fly this transition, so be it. Very unusual routing. Right, so there we are, Vebit, and then it's going to be an immediate left turn onto the transition. Just make sure there's no discontinuities here. Yeah, it'd be interesting if any of you have another add-on, or the PMDG or something like that, if you could try putting that transition in. But at least it's all joined together and it's all coded correctly. Good, look how dark it's gotten since I've been messing around. Right, I'll get the better pushback organised and then we'll request push and start.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
That's what I did when I was practicing. Hold on.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to
go. Delete segment. Let's just connect first.
Ground to cockpit.
And then we'll find out what's going on. Right, we seem to be getting there anyway. At now 15 innocent, imagine AC later give him direct to Gersa. Yeah, I know. I might have selected the wrong transition to be honest. Here comes the Alpaca Airways ground crew, our new base here. Sun's just set. The idea was that, well, hopefully, if we climb quick enough, we might hopefully see the sun rise again, but it'll probably be another 10 minutes until we're at the whole point here. Anyway, here's the ground crew connecting up. Excellent. And Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo on stand 57 at Terminal Alpha, request push and start.
Okay, all door transactions are closed, ready to connect. Set parking brake.
Just saying the squawk 6714 Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. I think it's what he said. Everyone's requesting pushback at the same time as me, of course.
Europe 56 calling for push, confirm.
Because unfortunately, Better Pushback spoke at the exact same time as the controller. I wasn't 100% sure if he'd actually gave us pushback clearance.
Operator 87, hello, stand Echo 53, correction Echo 57, right turn via Delta.
Go 57, right turn onto Delta, Emirates 87, thank you.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, just confirm are we cleared to push and start?
Now you're cleared for pushback with a U-turn facing north.
Push and start approved with a U-turn to face north, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Interesting. Right. So how am I going to do this? So I think, let's do, the only way you can really face north is to go all the way into like kind of link 3 here. Or is there a unique Zurich procedure here? Or maybe I could do a straight push back onto the stand. What I'm going to do is a long push back onto Foxtrot. That way I've given some options.
Connected and bypass been inserted. Release parking brake.
Right, there we go. Packs off. Anti-collision light on. Parking brake is. Set transponder out off. We've been clear push to start. Let's hope we don't upset him. The U-turn's an interesting one.
Pushback, and you may start the
Matt Burgess departures gave me a direct afterwards anyway. Brilliant. Right, we're on our way. 9 minutes late. Oh my goodness, better pushback. Where are we going? Thanks, Julie. Will Devi, I passed my PPL 2 weeks ago and my licence arrived today. Looking forward to my first qualified flight. Fantastic. Congrats to you, buddy. Very exciting. Right. Off we go.
Correct.
Well, we'll be facing north in this direction anyway. It's quite a long pushback. We're just going to wait until... What's quite interesting is... Yeah, he should be taxiing in a straight line. Hopefully I'm not going to push... If he turns right here, I've got a problem. But I think he's going to go straight on. Yes. So we're going to push this way and he'll give us some more options here. But to face north, it was the only kind of real way I could go. It's KLM pushing back as well. Super busy. Right, starting engine number 2.
Swiss 4532, stand by for traffic pushing behind.
Ed 2. Missed the sounds of the ZIBO mod.
Swiss 907
Yeah, very good.
Company Airbus 320 coming from inner onto Alpha, your number 2 behind.
Also continue behind the company traffic, Swiss 97 Bravo.
Swiss 903 Whiskey, taxi Alpha, contact tower 118.
So, yeah, when we put the fuel in, we try and check the spar valve, make sure it goes from dim to bright and off. That's a Boeing bulletin that's been going for years. Turn on the cockpit lights, please, Miss M. Little. They're pretty much turned up full. Turn up a little bit more. So, starting it out, monitoring engine number 2, 2463. 2 stable. Starting engine number 1.
Ground Alpaca 56 Romeo with information.
Backlights? Which backlights have little? Are you talking about the dome? N2. N1, oil pressure.
Alpaca 56 Romeo, hello, startup is approved. Clearance to Pula via VBIT 3 Whiskey
There we
departure.
go.
Then transition to Gersa, runway 28, squawk 67.
You've turned on only the floodlights. Or circuit breakers I don't want to turn up. I'll turn them down a bit. I don't really want to... I actually want to be turning this off now.
Please set parking brake.
Parking brake is set. Disconnect turbo bypass pin.
Disconnecting tow.
So it's sort of facing north, and I can make a left turn here if required. And start it out, monitoring engine number 2. N1's 20%, ET around 400, N2 around 60%, fuel flow around 300 kilos an hour. 1 is stable.
725, clear to Lupa, 11 Gersa on the transition.
Just under the PFD there's a knob, M little move, this is very detailed. The panel lighting, you mean, this? Is that the one you wanted turned up? You want to turn it down a little bit now.
Hello, radio 5. Swiss 81 Golf, contact tower again, 118.1.
So tower's on standby, perfect.
Tower is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right.
Alpaca Airways really making a better move. Look at this. Swiss Airs everywhere as well. Right, there's the pushback crew.
7 Bravo, tower 118.1.
Make sure he shows us the bypass pin.
1 Swiss 97 Bravo, bye-bye.
Outstanding. He's shown us the bypass pin. How realistic. Right, generators on, APU's off. Star switch is continuous. Propane on. Anti-ice is off. Air conditioning, PAX auto, isolation valve, APU's off. And set flaps. Here comes flight controls. Full forward. Full back. Left, centre, right centre. Here comes the rudders. Oh, hold on. Just twisted around my feet. That's something I don't have to worry about in real aircraft. There we are. Full right, full left. Recall. Blank the lower to you, and that's it. We then read the before taxi checklist. So we just need to now request taxi. Nicholas, what are you using for the live ATC feeds? That's VACC, Nicholas. We're using the VACC online network. So let's go to Lisbon. So we're here on the Fox inner here. So we've got a few options. You can put us here on the inner or the Alpha taxiway for 28. Sort of facing this direction. Perfect. I'll try to get a taxi in there, but it's super busy.
Taxi forward via November and Echo.
How's the volume, guys, for ATC? Is it all good? Let me know.
Taxi forward, November, Echo, hold short, link 3 for Europa 56.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, request taxi.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, taxi via Foxtrot and Alpha, holding point 28.
Foxtrot Alpha for runway 28, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. So there we are, so we make a left turn onto Foxtrot here, and then Alpha for runway 28, so just to show you here, there we are. And then we'll join the taxiway here onto Alpha. I do like the ability to pop your head out the window. Right, there we are, parking brake release, config. Finally on our way.
You're cleared to your destination, Pristina, Digis to Whiskey departure, runway 28, squawk 6726.
Perfect.
Christina Bella approved, Digis to Whiskey departure, runway 28, squawk 6728.
4x5 says Tim, 5x5 bar dots, thanks guys. Sometimes what I hear in my headset isn't exactly what you hear, you see, with the VACC audio, so it sometimes can be a little bit, need a bit of feedback for you guys if it's too loud, too quiet. Awesome. Guys, there's 727 of you watching, 727, amazing. It's about time we did a stream in the 727 as well, so, oh, I've got so much I want to do, it's just time, guys, it's just time. But if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. We'll give way to the Swiss Air A320 and Alpha crossing 28, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. So we're giving way to this Swiss Air is just crossing on for 28. We have to give way to him.
Can I get that again?
Just by Echo and Alpha.
Echo Alpha.
What's that? What's Mariana laughing at? What have you said in chat?
And then 56.
Say again. I can't. Yeah, man, I can't hear you. You're in the lounge and I'm in here. She's lost it. Who said what? Who? Who's Fiona May? I'm trying to taxi a 737 it, albeit virtually. Fiona Mayer, this is Steve Mayer's wife. Hi boss, could you possibly give Steve Mayer a shout, tell him his dinner's ready, because he's obviously not heard from upstairs. Steve, I'm afraid you've got to be detracted from the stream to go and have your dinner, mate. I was wondering why you were laughing. Oh, savage. I think, as I was saying, if you enjoy the video, smash the thumbs up, albeit one of the guys watching has to go for his dinner, and his wife told him via the live chat. Amazing. Excellent. At Tower 18.1 now, back at 2 Charlie Romeo. Thanks to the ATC, bye-bye. Perfect. So let's listen to Tower. So as I was saying, we're number 1, someone's just lined up there. 2, I think these 2 people are waiting or getting ready there, so probably number 2 here for departure. We'll now do the before takeoff checklist. So config we checked, flaps we have 5 green light, and stab trim set for departure 5.75 units set takeoff briefing. The packs are in auto, the bleeds are on, the V-speeds are set for departure, 34, 35, 143 set. Departure is a bit long-winded now. We're no longer just doing the Gersa 3 whiskey, we're doing the Gersa VACC 3 whiskey, and then loads of waypoints via Gebat, so climbing straight ahead here. What direction is that initial turn? Left turn, isn't it? So that should be... I don't think we're going to do all this anyway. We're going to climb up to 5,000 feet, which is set here. NADP 2. Any problems, we'll climb straight ahead to the MSA. And the MSA for our sector to there is 4,500, so we'll go up to 5,000 feet. Guys, I don't know if you remember, we streamed into VATSIM, streamed onto Zurich about 3 months ago, and I think this could be that same controller I was having a few issues with. I don't know if it was this guy, but he wasn't best handling it. It sounds like he's hopefully doing everything else today. CYYZ, focus on the taxiway. You're going left and right. Well observed. I'm very sorry. Please don't file a report or call Chief Pilot. Yeah, I think that could be it. Anyway, here we are for runway 28, Alpha 1. So overshooting the line here slightly, that way you can get a nice sharp 90-degree turn here, facing the whole point, as long as you don't cross the red stop bar. I actually quite like the fact that Aerosoft have gone to the trouble of actually making red stop bar lights. There's so many add-on airports which don't have red lights for stop bars. There we go, a little bit left of centre line, but we'll take that. Right, parking brake set, we'll call ready for departure. Zurich Tower, good evening, it's Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, holding point runway 28, ready for departure in sequence.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, Tower, good evening.
Yep. Mo Man you, I helped develop those lights, fantastic. Make more red stoplights, please. So I think runway 28 they're landing on, did they say 16?
And Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, line of weight, runway 28.
And via Alpha 1 line up and wait, runway 28, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Perfect. Yeah, I'm very sure it's the same guy, but he seems a lot more composed there. He seems really professional, which is great. Right, strobes on. His parking brakes we confirm with Jim, our first officer, via Alpha 1 could line up and wait, runway 28, A firm. Clear left, he's taking off there, and we are clear right. Do the checks now before takeoff. So I'll have auto throttle, transponder to TARA. So MCP is set, transponder TARA, strobe lights are on. We're just waiting for our takeoff clearance, and the weather radar's on as well. Nearly there, guys. Little bit behind schedule, but it is a short flight. He's safely airborne, and we are next.
Contact departure 125.995.
Awesome. Now what? Microsoft Flight Simulator is good, but if you want to have the airline immersion and experience, this is the one you need still. It'll give it time though. Don't get me wrong. Microsoft Flight Simulator is a beautiful, pretty sim, but for me right now, just for GA, We're all ready to go, guys. Don't worry, I won't forget the timer. Gonid Zashi Dizindimu. So you actually communicate with Tower in the game. Yes, we're talking to real people on VATSIM. Tom Boulder, clearance please, Clarence. 125905. There we go. That should be the airborne frequency.
And Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, we stay about 1 knot, runway 28, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 28 cleared for takeoff, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Excellent, got a takeoff clearance, guys. You know what to do in chat. Timing, 40%. There, engine stabilised, push toga, set takeoff for us. Look at that sunset as well. Light forward pressure on the control column. 96.0. There we are, takeoff thrust set, indications normal.
89.
Checked. Release that forward pressure.
Zurich Tower, good evening. This is 532, which is taxi
You on rotate 2 to 2.5 degrees per second. And we're airborne.
Positive rate.
Gears coming up. Onto the flight directors. And trim.
400.
Departures 125.905, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Thanks a lot for the great ATC, buddy. Good evening.
1000.
Right, command. Plug up. If that's the same guy, good on him. Good on him, because I think he was really struggling last time with the ground, but he was really composed and professional there, so good job to him. Right, burging up. Flaps 1. Ooh, haven't done our fly past. Amazing. And flaps up. Departures, good evening. Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. We're on the VACC 3 Whiskey transition to the Gersa, climbing to 5,000 feet.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, departure identified, climb level 120 and report your passing altitude.
Climb flight level 120, passing altitude 4,800 feet. Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Forgot to tell you my passing altitude. Right, flaps up, no lights, VNAV. We can set standard. Passing 5-3, flight level 120 after takeoff checklist. Oh, I didn't start the elapsed timer, did I? No, I still start the elapsed timer, look. Make sure it's on run. I just put the chronometer on as well. Because we actually do both, to be fair. I only started doing it to be flying a lot more often. Right, after takeoff checklist, that's the priority at the moment. Off. Taxi that, come off. Air conditioning and pressure, oops. Air conditioning pressurization 2.5. And temperatures are all set. Just turn the lighting down slightly. This would be far too bright in real life, it'd be a lot dimmer. That's more like it, that's more like it. And our altimeters, we've got standard set, passing 7-4, flight level 120. And the after takeoff checklist is all complete. Sorry, wrong button. Oh my god, wrong button. I'm a professional streamer. I didn't mean to do that. I'm trying to. I just changed the order of my themes. That made me jump. I didn't mean to do that. So sorry. Left direct to Omido, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Not a professional streamer here. Oh my goodness. There's Omido. What a shortcut. Fantastic. Execute. LDAV available. Where's my lovely curved turn gone, ZIBO? We've got a nice straight line there. Ah, jeez. Right. Vertical speed, 2,000 feet per minute. Passing 103, flight level 120. Pre-cruise checks now. Fuel 4 pumps, 6 tons on board. Lights. Logos off. APU's off. Pressurization 4.0 set. Lead the passengers on at all times now due to coronavirus. Recall, there we are. Checks complete. What I was trying to do was turn the alerts back on.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, connect this radar 128.050, goodbye.
128.050, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, bye. Perfect. Right, there's Swiss radar. I think I need to turn the volume down slightly. There we are. That's a little bit better. And then we'll contact Swiss radar now. Swiss radar, good evening. Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Climb flight level 120 inbound to Omido.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, identified climb level 297.
Climb flight level 290, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Excellent. That's our final cruise level. So that's set. VNAV passing 121 flight level 290, and we just verify that our final cruise level is set here. The overhead panel, set on the MCP, and also we have it there 290, and then we'd be monitoring 121.5 as well. Excellent. Now I was going to put some music on in the background as well.
Austrian 561 traffic, turn left heading 200. Left heading 200, Austrian 561.
There we go. On our way, guys.
Long end 127, that's 1725, Swiss 97, bye-bye.
KLM 94, Solo Unicum 122-78, bye-bye.
Does the logo just come on when on approach? What's that you're referring to, Matt? Not sure. Sorry, wrong button. Professional pilot right there. Head 5 shot. Yes. Thankfully, I don't have a stream deck on the 737 cockpit. I'd be in serious trouble.
30, 20.
Thank you very much, Passenger Escobar, for the £5. What's this all about?
Did someone say dinner was ready? Question mark, question mark.
Jeez. Thanks a lot, Passenger Escobar, for the £5 and continued support. Is that referring to Steve Mayer's little incident earlier, which was absolutely brilliant? I love the fact his wife actually went to the effort of, well, I don't know, even just making an account, but coming on to at least the chat to make that comment. Absolutely brilliant. Or perhaps it's my dinner you're referring to. Thanks a lot anyway, buddy. I hope you're doing well. J. Cooper Transport Guide, do you have to download airline liveries or are they already there? You typically have to download them. For example, we have a virtual airline called Alpaca Airways. So if you have the ZIBO mod and you'd like this lovely livery...
Did someone say chicken? I love chicken. With some mashed potatoes, gravy corn, and don't forget the coleslaw and biscuit.
Max Verstadt, what is going on with all these dinner thing related donations? Thank you. Someone say chicken. I love chicken with some mashed potatoes, gravy corn, and don't forget the coleslaw and biscuit. Max, what's going on? Thanks a lot for the continued support and donation. Unbelievable. Lovely evening. Look at that. The Alps, unfortunately, can't quite see them, but you can just see the tops with the snow there. And the reflection from the interior lights as well. That's an American biscuit, mind. Is this some sort? Yeah, I'm thinking UK digestive biscuit. That's probably some American food. Right, there's 20,000 feet, so every 10,000 feet, just check the pressurization. Duct pressure, that's the important one. The pressure, sorry, not duct pressure, the differential pressure, the pressure between inside and outside.
50, 40,
currently 6.5 psi.
20.
As long as that's up, the aircraft is pressurised. Thanks a lot, Mark Jackson, for £2. Do you manually trim when landing? Very good question. Yes. So when we disconnect everything, the 737, it becomes a big. It becomes a big Cessna. So we trim it the same way you would in a light aircraft. You essentially trim out all forces, so you're making no input on the control column. Now, one of my members did ask if I could actually turn on the trim noises, because I have it muted at the moment because, to be fair, it's not making too much input now, but previously in the past the ZIBO mod made a few additional inputs just because of the limitations of a desktop simulator to make the autopilot behave a little bit more realistically, but ZIBO's correctly programmed this to allow the control column to make inputs whilst trimming, so it should be a little bit more realistic. So I might turn it on for the approach, but I remember turning something on in the past and it did cause a crash. We'll have a look. But yeah, we do trim. When we're flying manually, we trim at all times. Especially when every time you change your speed or change your thrust, you'll need to retrim the aircraft. Daniel Gillis, what's the flight time today? Total 55 minutes, so we're able for 10, so around 45 minutes we should be on the approach into Pula.
26799 identified. Ocean 561, contact Zurich arrival 135225, stop.
Looking good, guys. I need to have a new overlay because I get very annoyed when all of them are the wrong height here. It's my OCD. I want it all tidy and straight. Knock you down a bit, Max. It changes. Unfortunately, every time I use my Microsoft Flight Simulator, it changes because it goes full screen, so it's not quite the same size. Now, the reason you have this black bar at the bottom is the fact that I run the sim in windowed mode. If I go full screen, sometimes the stream freezes, so I run it in windowed mode, which means where I have my toolbar at the bottom, you see how the mouse disappears, I have my Windows toolbar, so I just have this black line instead.
40, 30, 20.
Thank you very much, M Little, for the donation. What is trim air and why is it always on? Excellent question. What trim air does, if you imagine you have the air conditioning packs, they provide cool air, cools bleed air down, and goes into something called the mixed manifold, which then distributes it along the cabin and the flight deck. If we want a hotter temperature, for example, in the forward or aft part of the cabin, it uses hot trim air, and then basically squirts the hot air into that zone to control the temperature instead of trying to control or change the pack temperature all the time. That's what it does in a nutshell. That's sort of my rough, if you want the actual proper definition, I could quote it from FCOM 2, but essentially in a sort of layman's term, you have bleed air, the air conditioning packs cool it down, it's then distributed against the cabin, and then we reheat the air in the particular zone using trim air to allow temperature. It's a lot more efficient to do it that way. Russell, how to pressurise the cabin? Again, that comes from the air conditioning system. Air is kind of pumped into the aircraft and then it leaks out a bit. There's always a little bit of a leak through the doors and things like that, but the main part that comes out is something called the outflow valve. Now, you'll see here, this is the outflow valve here. It's currently closed. When you're on the ground, it's fully open. So when you next go flying and you see this vent, it will be fully open on the ground to depressurize the aircraft, and then it's all automated. It controls the amount of air leaving the aircraft to maintain the pressurization. Felis, thank you very much for the £1. When you come into the cockpit, is it completely cold and dark, or is there always some guys working and some lights and systems are on? Tell us your experience in the real world, please. Thank you very much, Felis. Now, it very much depends what duty you're doing. So, my operator, we typically work 2 shifts, either an early shift or a late shift. If you're doing the early shift, you're coming to the aircraft and it's completely cold and dark. There's typically a GPU connected, a ground power unit. So when you get onto the aircraft, that blue light, ground power is available, is there, and that's it. Everything is completely off. Now, if you're on a late shift, it really depends how tight the times are. You know, airlines work quite tight margins. They always want their aircraft flying, and most of the time when the early crew lands, it goes off again in around an hour's time for the next shift. And if you're waiting by the aircraft, you know, if they're running a bit late, they'll pull on stand. You're already waiting, so they won't power the aircraft down. They'll leave it in the transit state. So it really varies. In the morning, cold and dark. On the afternoon, if there's a big gap between two, typically cold and dark. But if the crew are waiting on the previous sector, you know, I've fully shut down the aircraft, and then I've seen a crew walk to the aircraft. I've quickly put it back in the transit setup state for them. So that's it, really. Listen, I've heard of airlines not turning their aircraft off ever. I think they're always powered down eventually, but it's better for them to be powered on or continuously in use. It's far worse for them to be sitting around a long time. With the coronavirus pandemic, they had a lot of issues with wildlife. You know, the aircraft sit down for a week without flying. There's so many little nooks and crannies on there for insects and pitot tubes, birds and nests in little crannies. That's a far bigger issue. We had loads of incidents where we had a few rejected takeoffs caused by insects making nests in pitot tubes, because that causes airspeed unreliable. And airspeed unreliable is a really serious situation, because all the flight directives, the automation and the information we rely on is based off airspeed information. So you want to make sure you have that. You know, they put covers on. They're sat on the ground a lot now, and my operators certainly are putting covers on the aircraft, pitot covers on every night. SK, great stream. Do you have a personalised sim brief, OFP? You seem to get all the important info on the first page. Top of climb wind, top of climb temperature, trip fuel reserves. Yes, you have the options to choose from all different operators. My operator's not there, but I choose one based loosely off that. Japan Airways, unfortunately, are not covered. Have a play, you'll find what you're looking for. Have I ever had a rejected takeoff infinite flight deck? I haven't, thankfully, but only one where I've advanced the thrust levers and then immediately had to close them. But nothing where I've been actually moving, touch wood. Thanks, Sim737 pilot, for the $5. Please explain new LNAV, VNAV mode choices in ZIBO. Which one is most realistic, since these choices aren't available in real life? Sim737 pilot, thanks for your donation. I think you're referring to the VNAV out option. Now, ZIBO has always had a basic VNAV alt model. The operator I work for, we do not have VNAV out. So you have the option to completely disable it now, and some operators have this option called VNAV out, where I don't 100% know how it works because we don't have it. So I think it's a sort of a, you know, without stating the obvious, it allows VNAV to level off the aircraft at certain points instead of what ours does, and I have it disabled with the ZIBO mod. If there's an altitude restriction in the FMC, what VNAV path will do will just level off, and then you can push out into event, and then it'll descend at 1,000 feet per minute. I think VNAV out works in a slightly different way. There's all sorts of different FMC options as well. Again, this isn't in any of our documentation, but I just know that certain operators, when I was in the sim, instructing guys that joined from other airlines, they were talking about something called geometric path descent, geometric idle path. We have at my operator geometric idle path descent. So essentially, VNAV in descent, it'll close the thrust, leave it at idle, and it'll pitch to maintain the path, and it doesn't really care much about speed. We've recently had an FMC update to what we call U14, which has slightly changed the way VNAV works. We can open the speed window now in descent, and it will stay in VNAV path, and I actually need to give ZIBO a bit of information about that, so he updates it accordingly. But yeah, that's the sort of detailed answer I can give you there. But thanks a lot for the donation. I hope you're doing well as well. If you have Sim737 in Pi, if you have questions like that, you ask in Discord. I'm 99.9% sure you are definitely a member, so you don't have to ask them during a stream. See, a lot of people are asking who I work for. Very typically answered question, and I fully appreciate that you probably want to know. That's something I just keep myself. My operator is well aware of what I do. In fact, I've just updated them recently on what the channel's doing. They said, absolutely fantastic, good luck to you. I just have to make sure it doesn't affect my rest at work or anything like that. But I choose personally not to disclose who I work for, just for privacy reasons, really. But I don't want you to fly for my operator. You have a lost checked-in bag, then you start chasing me up over it, you know. So it's far easier just to say I work for a European airline. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. 311 likes. 6. Yes, someone's noticing we have 66.6 subscribers. Yes, I don't like that. Let's bump that up. So if you enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe as well.
I've left the windows open at home, so there are flies everywhere. Can I borrow the Hoover after the stream?
Marina!
Alpha 2 Charlie Romeo, switch Unicum 122.8. Bye bye.
22.8 Alpaca 2 Charlie Row. Thanks to the ATC. Bye bye. Mariana seems to be sharing my entire life story with my members at all times. We had a lot of flies in the house yesterday just because it's very warm here in the UK at the moment. Lots of bugs flying around, and I was around at 1 o'clock in the morning with my Shark handheld Hoover. It's worth noting other handheld Hoover models are available, and I was hoovering them up, which everyone found extremely amusing. Unbelievable. Right, 100 miles from top of descent. We should probably start thinking about the setup here. I'm actually going to choose up the show up the VACC map here, see what ATC services we have moving forward. Oh dear, poor tower. It's worth noting that our destination Pula have only got about 6 or 7 stands. It's very small. They've got a huge amount of aircraft inbound. I hope they give us runway 09 straight in as well. But yeah, we'll start setting up for the approach soon. If anyone is ahead of me, I'd love to know what runway is in use in Pula. Hopefully straight in for the RNAV approach runway 09 would be great. Richie Walsh, your stream you learn loads. Thank you, Captain. You're most welcome, Richie. That's what it's all about. It's just me chilling out. I can't stress how much I enjoy doing this. It's so fun. It's great to just chill out, and I can't stress as well. My regular viewers will know how long I was off work. I had the winter off with the contract I took last winter, and then the coronavirus pandemic. I had 8 months away, and I'm telling you, flying the ZIBO mod, it certainly helped you know, from a handling perspective, not so much, but the procedures, I'm doing the procedures day in, day out, and a lot of people go, you know, why do you do the same thing every stream? It's because it's what I do every day. You know, it's the same thing every single day. We shake it up, we do a few different approaches, we've flown into some great, interesting places as well, but, yeah. We'll see. Someone mentioned Concorde. Can you download Concorde at X-Plane 11? So then, Jay Cooper Transport Guy. The plan was, once we reached 50,000 subscribers, we'd fly Concorde. Now, typically, the channel grows between 1,000 and 2,000 subscribers a month. With Microsoft Flight Simulator, I grew... We got 15,000 subscribers in 2 weeks, so we shot past the target. I've been extremely busy the past 2 weeks. Despite the fact that there's a reduced amount of flights in Europe, our operators actually we're running a few reduced schedule, but still quite busy. So I flew 80 hours last month out of the 100 maximum. This month about 70. So I haven't had the chance to. I've already purchased the Collimata Concorde. I haven't had the chance to fire it up and test it yet. I've got my sim check coming up as well, so I'm concentrating on that. I've got to prepare for that over the next few days, but as soon as that's done, I've got a few standbys coming up. So standby, I'm sat at home. Yes, the stream could get disrupted if I get called in, but I'll be at home and have a bit more time available. But at the moment, really all I could do is a maximum 1 stream a week at the moment. Speedbird 006, they'll give you runway 09 on request. Okay. ATIS says runway 09 in use. Cool. Tony Hodge, your enthusiasm is infectious and so refreshing. Ah, you're welcome. You just gotta. That's the attitude you gotta take with life, buddy. Bjorn, admit it, you're waiting for a Concorde delivery for the 737. You're gonna cheat. I'm not Bjorn. No, actually, I've got for the Concorde. So I've got several deliveries made by some of the members. They always spend so much time doing that for me, which is really appreciated. So you can see, look, see ahead, look, see the flashing light just there. That's another aircraft on VACC. Great performance in the sim. I don't think I'm even running Vulcan. 35 FPS. I'll take that. I don't know if I should upgrade or use Vulcan yet. I don't think it's turned on in 1150. Because I was wondering, when it updated, it didn't take ages to load in, which I remember it did in the beta version. Right, anyway, how long have we got to go? 76 miles? It's about time we start setting up for the approach here. Right, what have we got here? We have ATIS. We do 129 at 150. Still not coming through on voice, is it? Nope. I'm just going to get the ATIS here by double checking it. So this is Pula Information Alpha. Expect ILS approach. Runway 09 in use. Well, there's no ILS approach on 09. I think they need to adjust the ATIS slightly because the only approach available onto 09 is NDB or RNAV. So we'll do a straight in RNAV approach runway 09. It's 23 degrees. QNH is 1019. Information Alpha. Okay. Let's preset the QNH. Let's get some charts. So, first time to Croatia in a stream, which is really cool. I'm so sorry it's night time. Yeah, I'm definitely not running Vulcan. So I think what I need to do is turn the options on in settings. But I mean, if it's working okay, I might not. I sometimes have a few FPS issues, but it seems to be working great. And I'm flying right over the top of the Alps, which is a lot of ortho to load in. Right, so arrival. Just turn my lamp on here. We are expecting the Labin 2 Yankee, I think it is, for runway 09. Where are you? 2 Zulu, 2 X-ray. Labin 2 Yankee, there we go. So we're going to fly an RNAV approach today, guys. RMP09. There's just the one airport chart. Very small airport, very small apron here. They've only got about 10 parking stands, and they're all self-positioned. Okay, yeah, I might try Vulcan then. So, let's start setting up the approach here. We approach top of descent. So, first things first. Descent page, 250 below 100. Forecast winds will punch in. Not much in the form of wind. Lovely day to go flying. It's been very settled. I flew every day last week, and the weather's been lovely. Really nice in Europe at the moment. UK's been calm. All my destinations very, very nice. A few little en route weather, a bit of en route weather, but nothing like we had 2 weeks ago. There's a lot of significant weather. For those of you who follow me on social media, I was showing a few of the CBs en route. It's all calmed down now. So 100 is 104.5. Cool. QNH 1019. Now it's really important, guys, when you're flying a non-precision approach. Or, well, this isn't necessarily a non-precision approach because it's an RMP with LNAV and VNAV. When you're flying an approach in VNAV, it's very important that you've got the right QNH set. If you don't have the right QNH, VNAV will put you high or low on profile depending on what QNH you have set. So it's very, very important that you get that information. Fixed rings. Runway 09 it. So what we're going to do is, after the turnaround, we're going to try and request runway 27 for departure, because it'll be a lot easier. When you're at small airports like this, ATC can be very accommodating for taking off, let's say, in the wrong direction runway. Yes, you can take off with a tailwind. We're not talking like a 20-knot tailwind here. We're talking winds of calm or a 5-knot tailwind. We'll have a look at the runway. We're coming in here from the west. You know, runway 09 east straight in. It's about 5 minutes shorter flight time. Runway 27 departure. Again, we're heading off in this direction. It's going to be a lot more beneficial to us. Right, let's step through the arrival. Let's pop out the controller column here. How's the music volume, guys? Can you hear the music in the background? Sometimes I know you can't even hear it. There's the legs page. So starting off at Labin. I don't know how that's pronounced. Yes, nice and subtle. I can't hear music. What music? It's quiet, but I like it that way. It's where I typically leave it. There you go. Turned it up a tiny smidge. Turn down the PFD brightness. Yes, sir. Here you go. Sorry. It's a little bit bright, to be fair. I like how they just all work. It's lovely. Right. Anyway, Labin, direct Papa Lima 704. Papa Lima 704 straight in towards Geski. Geski at or above 3,000 feet. We're going to tune the Pula VOR. We're not going to use it for the approach, but it is located on the field, so 11125. That's it, straight in. Lovely approach. MSA terrain, highest terrain 4,000 feet, so if we're unsure where we are, lose situation awareness, lose radar control. As long as we're within 25 miles of Geski, maintain 4,000 feet, we'll be safe from all obstacles and terrain. Right, here is an RNAV approach. So you can tune EGNOS 87881. We're not approved for that at the moment. We did have it on trial, but we don't know. So I'm going to use LNAV VNAV minima. Fine approach course is 084. Again, there's no requirement, there's no system that requires you to set this on the MCP when flying an RNAV approach, but it's just nice to do because it reminds you of what the approach QDM is. Interesting fact about Pula, it has the best Coliseum in Europe, makes the Rome 1 look rubbish, says the hangar pilot. There might be some Italians who might disagree with that statement. I didn't even know there was one here, to be fair. So here we go. Barrow VNAV not authorised below -15. Now, again, X-Plane 11 doesn't simulate temperature altimetry error, so in real life, the temperature affects how much the altimeter reads. So if it's very hot, the altimeter underreads, you're actually a lot higher. If it's very cold, the altimeter overreads, you're going to be lower. It's dangerous when it gets very cold, so when it's below 0 degrees Celsius, we have to make temperature corrections using a table. But again, it's not modelled in X-Plane 11, altimetry temperature error, so we could ignore that fact. So coming in from Geski, there's Geski. We're going towards Gelco. Gelco is important because that is the final approach fix. This is the point at which we start setting things on the MCP for our RNAV approach. So the first officer, if we were flying this in real life, would notify the pilot flying, pilot monitoring I should say, we're approaching the final approach fix, and then configure accordingly. So that's it. We've got Gelco, and then from Gelco direct to runway 09. Final approach path is 3 degrees. Very important to make sure that matches in the FMC when flying an RNAV approach. So 3 degrees, perfect. 7.1 miles, 7.2, slight discrepancy, but sometimes you can see a 0.1 mile discrepancy when flying that. PAPIs available on the left-hand side. You can circle here. Minimums. Category C, 560. It's LNAV VNAV, so we don't need to make the correction because it is a precision approach. 560. Approaching top of descent. The mod does this, it shouldn't do. It does start reducing speed to your target descent speed, 284. It doesn't do that in the real aircraft, it just waits until your conversion. I forgot what the minimums are. 560. Yes, fine. There we go. Set. That's it, really. Runway then. So one thing I wanted to point out to you is there's no centerline lighting here. There's runway edge lighting available. I don't have Jeppesen charts at work, so I don't know how exactly the lighting situation is depicted. We use a different company for our charts. In fact, it's the one that Microsoft Flight Simulator is working with. But our charts, they actually have the lights depicted on the runway if they're centerline lights, which I think it's the same with Jeppesen. But here we've got high intensity approach light system or runway. I think that's to do with the edge lighting. Right, reset MCP altitude, approaching top of descent. So let's just set something random. There's no ATC. Let's go down to flight level 80. VNAV will now manage that for us. Yeah, I'm not sure with the Jeppesen charts where the lighting is here. You can see how a degradation in lighting. So the less lighting you have available, it affects your takeoff RVR and your RVR for the approach as well. So runway center line, they have different abbreviations here, but if you've got all the lighting here, 300 meters at night time with certain lighting, 400 meters, 500 meters, that's for takeoff. For the approach, you need to have a look at a table again to see. It affects your RVR if there's not all the lights, certain lights available off the top of my head. You wouldn't know them, but there's a table we check. But yeah, straight in for runway 09. We'll plan to vacate at Delta or Echo 2000. Well, it's 3,000 meter long runway, but we'll try and vacate by Echo. Otherwise, we have to do a 180 backtrack. Very short taxi onto a tight apron. Landing performance I'll do now, around 4.1 tons, 400 to burn, landing weight's going to be 59.8. Flap 30, news, order brake 3, second D10 reverse. That's it, briefing's done. If you have any questions, drop it in chat, also have a little bit of time, but we have now started our descent into Pula, Croatia. And Moban, have you done any RMP approaches? Yes, several, they're becoming more and more common. I flew an RNAV approach into Corfu this week as well. In real life, that is, not in the game. Oh, Oliver Crockfields, what is EGNOS? European Geostationary something satellites, I think. It's essentially... It works like an ILS. We have equipment on the aircraft which communicates with a ground-based system, and it provides kind of like a localizer glide path for you. It's meant to be better than an ILS because it's not affected by any external factors. You know, when you fly an autoland, we have different hold points because a lump of metal like an aircraft will affect the signal for an ILS. So that's meant to stop it there. But it was all becoming a thing about 2 years ago. Then it just all fizzled out. So we're flying everywhere ILS still. SK, do you engage descent based on top of descent, or does ATC give you in real life? We always want our descent based off the VNAV calculated, and you just request ATC, request descent when you approach that top of descent point. ATC obviously will have to cater for traffic, so you'll have to adjust your descent accordingly if you're missing your VNAV profile. Captain Jack, are you allowed to show us a picture of a real chart? Your chart? Are you talking about my operators? Yeah, it's NavBlue. If you type NavBlue charts, you'll find where they are. They're coming out of Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're using Jeppesen here because I have a subscription with Navigraph, which is an excellent utility to have for simmers. These charts are all up to date. It can't be used in the real aircraft, obviously, but they do match the real charts. Does sound like we're in the hotel lobby again. I'll just get the keys, darling. So looks like there's no radar available, just tower. We're in a nice line of traffic. There's no one directly ahead of us or behind us. Is Steve Mayer back? How was your dinner? Yes, I have, pal. Well, I'd best put the dishes in the dishwasher before I go on to the mention. Still can't believe she did that. Infinite Aviation 0305. How long left? We'll be touching down around 20 to 25 minutes. Nick DVC, you set the approach fixed at 2,500 above and not fixed at 2,500. You're quite right, actually. For a FAF, we should... on an RNAV approach, we should be hard. Was it... very well spotted. So you don't usually have to do this on a VOR or something, but for an RNAV approach, yes, the final approach fix here should be a hard altitude. Very dark outside, of course. Not much to see, unfortunately. I can't believe the first time into Croatia we decide to fly at night, but the nights are drawing in now. It's getting dark. When it's the winter, we'll have to change the time of day. Right, Pula approach. Pula approach, hi mate. If able, please can you ask Sierra Whiskey Romeo 1702 if on stream to contact approach ASAP. Whose call sign is SWR1702? Can you please contact Pula Approach on behalf of the controller, please? That's a convenience. It's like a radio check. So we'll cycle the seatbelts. Just tells the crew that we have around 15 minutes landing. The nav path behaving beautifully, just around 4 knots fast, 5 or 6 knots fast, but that sometimes happens in a real aircraft. TTO Smith, shouldn't you be able to see the runway by now? We've still got another 15,000 feet to go. It is at sea level, this destination, so when we're at 0 feet, we should be touching down, but in Zurich you'll see on the way back, slightly higher elevation. I think it's around 1,400 feet at Zurich, can't remember now. Matthew Harris, do you ever use your phone to get ATIS runway and flight? No, Matthew, unfortunately it wouldn't work, but we have lots of sources. Obviously the main one is listening into the frequency, but if it's quiet as it is now, you can always ask Tower for the weather, or the en route controller. Matt Burgess, haha, can the owner of the car with registration? Amazing. Hopefully you got the message. F1 Mike, good question, been answered by Flight Deck to Sim. What did you ask? I'm having a look here, F1 Mike. I might have missed your question. Scrolling up. I've lost it. Feel free to ask again. But my brain is a bit like when I'm streaming, when it comes to answering questions on chat, it's quite hard to keep on top of it. Seriously, do you ever get sleepy during night flights in real life? Nope, because you kind of cater for that by getting up later. So I've just come off late shifts, typically landing midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. I get up quite late, so 9, 10 o'clock. I'll also have a nap in the afternoon sometimes. You just alter your routine to be awake at certain times. You might notice sometimes when I'm streaming, if I start streaming quite late, so finishing at midnight UK, it's usually because I'm coming on to late shifts. You're quite right, B9Bot. 720 of you watching, only half the amount of likes. So if you are enjoying the stream, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button as you watch myself. I used to say a furloughed 737 captain, but I'm not furloughed now, but I am on my days off. If you're enjoying watching me fly the ZIBO MOD 737, as I do exactly at work, smash the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe as well to stay up to date with the content. Right, approaching flight level 100. We should now be starting to slow to 250 knots. Is the mod going to do it? It's pitching up by the looks of it. Oh, and now Pula Approach wants me to contact him on 124.6. Pula Approach, very good evening. Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, descending flight level 80, inbound to Labour Information Alpha 1019.
Information Brown now valid 1019, no sleeper change, and squawk 5254, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo.
Squawk 5254, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Did you manage to get hold of 1702?
Negative, and supervisor will try now with the magic touch.
Okay, thanks. Right, 1, 2, 4.
He's about to crash into you, so with respect to you.
No problem. What am I doing? Why did I put that frequency there? That's something I just wrote down earlier. I need to put the new squawk in. 5, 2, 5, 4. There we go. 5254. We don't now do the. Yeah, so the mod's going a little bit.
Packet to Charlie Romeo 9500, radar contact, descend altitude 3000, proceed direct to Getsy, 4 straight in R, number 09, NDB visual is also available.
Turn altitude 3000 feet, QNH 1019, proceed direct to Geski, and we'll fly the RNAV approach 09 Alpaca to Charlie Romeo. So direct to Geski.
Correct, speed is yours.
Oh no, I don't want that, that's the edge. Geski, so it's got the holding annoyingly. Let's put that like that. There we go, executes. Let's put us a little bit high here, so I'm going to use speed brake. VNAV, I don't know why it didn't want to maintain or reduce speed to 250 knots, but it did suffer a little bit there. But we're about 700 feet high, so speed brake's out now, 250 knots. QNH 1019 is set, passing 9,000, 3,000 feet. Standby altimeter set.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, speed is yours.
Free speed, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, thank you.
And for information, on responding traffic is at your left, now 6,500 descending.
There he is.
So it's left around 10, becoming 9 o'clock, current distance 8 miles with supervisor.
No problem, Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. You do as you wish. If you want to vector me away, keep away, that's fine. I'll continue towards Geski for now. So
I think he doesn't deserve the attention, so just ignore it.
Perfect. Yeah, so there's someone descending.
Tower 132.000.
Was that for me? So there's the airport there, nice and light. Looks like someone is still unresponsive coming on there, but we're coming back onto the VNAV profile, so I'm going to select VNAV, stow the speed brake, and there we are approaching the decel point. So the aircraft will start slowing down here. There is someone flying straight towards us. Let's hope he probably, doesn't realise he's been pinged by approach, but we're just ahead of him here. Anyway, the reason I went to level change is because in this mode, the aircraft will pitch to maintain a speed. It's the quickest way to go down, really. Oh yeah, I don't want this glide slope information on. There we are. So approaching the decel point. You're not going to fly any slower, ZIBO. There we are. There's the upspeed. In the real aircraft, the bug doesn't go straight to up. It slowly creeps back. The aircraft pitches for that speed as well. And we'll now do the approach checklist. So frequencies, it's an RNAV approach, but we do have Pula VR tuned. Fixings are in. Idents, no idents, it's an RNAV approach. Standby instruments set, courses set to, approach check is complete. So here's a really important thing to note here. The distance here look, it's distance to runway 09. So if you've tuned the Pula VOR, do not get confused with the distances here. This is the VOR distance. The distance we'll be interested for the runway is here. Not to be confused on the approach. When you're flying an RNAV approach, use this distance. When you're flying a VOR approach, use this distance. Sometimes they're co-located, but they're not here. Thoughts on 737 MAX EASA certification? Yeah, I mean...
Charlie, Romeo, descend altitude 2,500 feet, RNAV runway 09, still free speed.
Descend altitude 2,500 feet, cleared RNAV approach 09 at Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Yeah, I mean, I think by the time this aircraft's released, it'll be one of the most thoroughly tested, investigated aircraft in the history of commercial aviation. So I'll be confident to fly in it once it's gotten the green light from all the authorities. So we'll see. Excellent. So we'll pause the music there as we are approaching Geski, which is here 12.8 miles from the VOR. VNAV is doing so far a good job. It did struggle a little. Oh look, I didn't do the... Did I do that? I forgot to do the post-cruise checks. You know what to do in chat. Fuel lights, APUs off, pressurization set. Recall. Check's complete. I didn't do that. Is this the second sector? No, this is the first one, Captain Check. We'll be turning around in Pula. What's an RNAV approach? RNAV approach is basically you're using the FMC and a navigational database and GPS to navigate the aircraft. It's extremely accurate. So there's Geski. Aircraft's now shortly going to be turning final, inbound to the final approach fix. Had a balancing landing in Pula, Dave. I'm sorry to hear that. Looks like the aircraft might have disappeared now anyway. So lovely day. RVR required for this approach. We have all the alighting. What's this category C? 1400 meters. There we are. So turning final now. And approaching 10 miles. We'll now select flap 1. We'll open the speed window because we want to stay in VNAV for this approach. The flap drag model on this aircraft is absolutely fantastic now. Really realistic. ZIBO, I should be able to cancel this though. That light means that the autothrottle's struggling to maintain the speed, so that's accurate. Let's go flat 5 now. Speed check flat 5. See the speed's running away. That's because we really ideally want to be on flat 5 for this approach already. So we'll keep an eye on it. Might have to use speed brake, but it is now slowly reducing. There we are at 10 miles. So, next waypoint, guys, is the final approach fix at Gelco. So once we're 2 miles before Gelco, we'll start configuring the MCP for the RNAV approach. Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo established RNAV 09. So there's 600 feet.
Roger 2 Charlie Romeo, many thanks for coming and bringing the crowd. Looking forward till later. Now tower, once they did it,
anytime, no problem at all, and we'll contact the tower now on 132.0 Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Speak to you soon.
Ciao.
Perfect. Alright, I really like that, you know, some parts like this, some parts of the world don't get as much coverage on VATSIM, so I like to kind of, I often get a few messages coming in, oh, can you do a flight into our airport and stuff, so I'll do a few more like that. So there's the final approach fix, 2,500 feet. And now it's really important, don't use that VOR, look at the difference there, 7 and 7.6. At 6 miles, look, we need to be at 2,130. I'm going to go flap 10 here just to help the aircraft slow down. Tower, good evening, it's Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, RNAV approach runway 09, 6 miles.
Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo, good evening, Pula Tower, runway 90, clear to land.
90. Runway 09 cleared to land. Alpaca 2 Charlie Romeo. Hey, his English is far better than my Croatian. So we just missed the height check. So 5 miles. Look at 5 miles. It needs to be at 1810. 5 miles, 1810. Just what you have available on a desktop simulator, guys, is just incredible. The accuracy of everything, absolutely incredible. Right, let's start configuring. Gear down. Flap 15. Landing checklist of flaps. Start switches. Continuous. Recall check. Speed brake. Arm green light. Landing gear. Down tree green. Order brake 3. Holding on landing flap 30. Speed check. Flap 30. So there's the top of the white bar. We need to now set the missed approach altitude, which is 3,000 feet. set, 3,000 feet check. So flaps 30, 30 green light, lights are on, checks complete. And you'll notice, look, you might notice, look, a bit low, 3 reds. Remember, it's an RNAV approach, not an ILS. It might be a slight deviation, but we'll disconnect now. Disconnecting autopilot, disconnecting auto throttle. There we are. And what I'm going to do is actually recycle the flight directors, which I have a. There we are. Because they're then obviously giving me 3 reds there, so I want to get rid of the flight directors and start flying manually. 3 whites, a bit high there. Let's reset the attitude onto roughly the horizon. It'll give me around 1,000 feet per minute. Ooh, a bit steep. There we are, back on profile. You can see that there's no centerline lights. Jack! Jack's barking at something outside. Always. Right, continue. Continue, sorry, there we are. Get your landing rate guesses in as well. Oh, 3 reds, a bit low. It's always a little bit trickier without the centerline lights. There we are, back on profile. Keep descending. No wind, no excuses.
100.
Checked. Bit high again. Oh dear, bit off the centerline.
50, 40.
Check.
20,
Close.
10.
Hold the attitude. Come on. Oh, I sense it. I sense it. Oh, yes! Minus 50. Get in. What a butter. Speed brakes up. Oh, yes. Reverses. 100 knots. 80 knots. Manual braking. 60 knots. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a buttery Croatia. Minus 50. Outstanding. Everyone that's subscribed from the Microsoft Flight Simulator streams will think I'm some sort of simming god. You should see my ones in real life. It's certainly not as good as that. Right, next left. Unbelievable. And the radar off. Speed brakes up. Laps up. There's Delta. You beauty. Excellent. We're only halfway through, guys. We've still got to get into Zurich. Zurich, sorry, Mariana.
Charlie Romeo, taxi to send number 4.
Stand 4, Alpaca 2, Charlie Romeo. Speak to you in a bit. Perfect. Right, next left, tight apron here. And we'll get that APU started up. Ooh, a little bit fast for that turn. What a lovely flight that was.
Alpaca 30, very taxi.
Excellent. So I'm just going to do a little bit more to clean up. Now I'm not going to shut explainer down, so I'm actually going to make sure as much stuff is set up as possible for the next sector now. So auto brake to off, flight director's already off, 3,100. Trim wheel set to 4 units. There we go. And start switches off and probe off as well. So stand number 4. So here at Delta. And it's going to be in on the main apron and then the first left here. Now this, guys, believe it or not, is default X-Plane 11. Someone has really gone to a lot of effort to update this airport on the standard gateway, because I did upload the TDG one, but it's 4 years out of date. The default one looks really, really good. I'm really impressed. All the apron stand markings are all correct, so I stuck with it. So in via hotel. Get that APU.
Alpaca 30, just to confirm, exit apron via Golf.
Copy, exit the apron via Golf.
Perfect. So it's a remote stand here. Ooh, don't overshoot it here. So stand 4, what we're going to do is come straight in here. We're going to make a left turn and a right turn. In fact, you'd have a marsh in real life, but just to show you, look, left here, right, and then we're going to park in this direction. Great. Gateway airports can get really good listening. Yeah, I was really impressed. The markings are all identical. I mean, the TDG, don't get me wrong, he makes some fantastic series, but it's just a little bit out of date. And this one was much, much better. Oh, no, I forgot I'm a professional streamer. I forgot to set the music on. There we are. Right, first officer seat here, because the first officer would be guiding the turn here with the marshal's instructions. So we need to be facing in this direction. Something like this. Taxiing's a little bit harder in a desktop sim. There we are, that's not bad. A little bit further left of the line, but I'll overshoot the turn here, but that's difficult when there's no marshaller. Let's bring it to a stop just there. Excellent. Right, parking brake is set. Let's pop that AP on the bus. There we are, 2 blues and 1 red for the parking brake. Engines are dead. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Croatia. Welcome to Pula. As the aircraft engine spools down. How's my parking at the end? Yeah, not that great, but we'll take it. Excellent. We made it. Fantastic, guys. Only halfway through the stream. How long we stream for? An hour 50. Not bad. Ideally around an hour and a half, but we'll try and get everything done by around 9:30 UK time. But fantastic. Listen, my favourite quote there. Some things you just cannot teach, apart from by parking onto a remote stand. Awesome stuff. Let's have a little look here at the chat regarding my landing, which I was very pleased with. I can't believe Jack started barking. Look at all the Jack emojis in chat. That's amazing. Amazing, impressive. I know. Need to test this landing app with Vulkan enabled. Yeah, I obviously don't have Vulkan on here, so it's all working quite nicely. Captain, would you ever move the mixture switches halfway? No mixtures here, XVLP. I think what you're referring to here, buddy, is the start levers, and there's only 2 positions, idle or cut off, in the 737. You have something called an EEC, which controls all of the engine mixtures for you. You know, a jet engine is actually far simpler to operate than a piston engine aircraft. Cool. Right. Anyway, let's turn this music down, and of course we always well, not end a live stream, but we always have a break. We'll always have the replay with the landings with, of course, the famous funky music. So we'll just disconnect from VATSIM. There we are. Excellent. So let's have a little look at this replay. It was beautifully buttery. Oh, perfect. What a great place to start from. Here we go. Captain Boston, wait, we landed already. Only halfway though, buddy. I'm going to do the return sector. Lovely. Oh, look how close I was to the ground. Look, it was so close, and then just a little dip. Perfect. Let's have a little look from the touchdown point here. Well, not the touchdown point, a beam, the touchdown area. Have I timed it well? I think, oh, not quite. Touched on a little bit early. Not bad though. Oh, it was a real smooth butter. Awesome. Awesome stuff. Have they got a tower view here? They do. Oh, unfortunately not the best tower view. Not a problem. I'll do it from around here. You'd have to be brave to stand on this part of the runway. Oh, Shift N for night vision. Oh! I didn't know. I know it had a vision, but I think that's a little bit too green. Yeah, not the best at night time, unfortunately, but still looks good enough. Awesome stuff. Alright, guys, well, what I'm going to do is pop you back in the cabin. I'll now set up everything I have to do in the background for the next sector. Otherwise, I'm not going to shut the sim down. We'll be exactly where we left it. I just pray no one else respawns on the stand, but it's not an issue if they do. We can always go back onto another stand. I'll go live once we're all ready to go. So I'll be straight back with you in around 5 to 10 minutes. See you shortly, guys. Enjoy the replay.
2500.
levity to each other's lives. But there's a lot more to life than that, and I realized that in these last few years. And we just became very different people. And so we had nothing in common overnight. It's very strange, but that happens.
Alpaca 9 Delta Romeo, contact Pula radar on 124.6. Have a nice flight, bye bye.
Then guys, thank you very much for that intermission. I didn't actually get a chance to go for a break. That's how long it takes to get everything set up again. I might just have a quick break once we get to the cruise for the return sector back to Zurich. But thank you all very much for your patience. Here we are. I have not shut down X-Plane 11 at all. It's still running from the previous sector. So it is a true transit setup we'll be doing here. Let's just turn up the sounds back in X-Plane 11. The APU is still running with the generator on the bus. I haven't bothered selected the ground power, which we usually do on a turnaround, but it's just easier to have it set up there. But yeah, we'll start on stand 4 as well. We've got a colleague of ours taxiing out on the Alpaca call sign. But yeah, it's just us two here. I thought it'd be a few other aircraft here, but it looks like we were one of the last ones over here. Right, let's jump back on into the flight deck. Right, so transit setup. I would have got everything done by now, but the first thing I generally do is auto brake to RTO. I reset the fuel flow for the next sector, pop the flight directors on, And then I go straight into loading the FMC. We've still got the clock running, you see, from the first flight, so I'll reset that. And, oh, I just realised I forgot to update Nightbot for the routing information, so just give me 2 seconds, guys. There's always something I forget to do for the return sector. Today's route, I'm just updating Nightbot with the routing information, so I know a lot of people are interested in replicating the flights post-stream, so if they want all the information they can have it. So, commands for Nightbot. Routing information, there we go. So now, when you use the command !route, you'll have the routing information for this sector. That's been submitted. Perfect. Right. Let's crack on. Thank you very much to Shivam up Hud Hayes, just joined as a member. Welcome on board. Glad you joined the content. You'll get invited to our members only Discord, where the party never stops. Thank you very much. Welcome on board. And that reminds me as well, let's turn the sterile cockpit back on. There we go. Excellent. Right, let's get the flight plan for the return sector. Here it is. So, sector number 2. We're now the Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform for Zurich, cruising at flight level 360. And we'll just go straight into punching the routing information in. So we are in, no, we're not in Zurich, we are in Pula, Lima Delta Papa Lima, and we're going to be going to Zurich, Lima Sierra Zulu Hotel, and the call sign is Alpaca. What have I just told you literally 2 seconds ago? 4 Zulu uniform. Perfect. So what I'm going to do now is actually contact departures, because we'll see what runway is in use for departure, because we got runway 09 straight in. The ATIS is information Charlie. It's still saying runway 09. The surface wind is 0605. So it is favouring runway 09, but on a day like this, we'd actually want to request runway 27. The wind's calm. It's a much shorter taxier for us as well. So if I just show you here the airport chart, look. Well, it's about the same taxi, but you imagine if we take off on runway 27, it's a straight out departure. We don't actually have to go off in this direction and then take off runway 27. It very much depends on the traffic situation. So what we can do, if I was doing this flight right now, I'd actually ask out, any chance for runway 27 here. So we'll get tower tuned 132.0. It's still active. Just turn up the volume here, and we'll request runway 27 for departure. Pula Tower, good day. It's Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, stand for information Charlie QNH 1019, departure clearance to Zurich, and if possible request runway 27 for departure.
For the uniform, stand by.
Perfect. So he probably has to coordinate with approach, or see if there's any traffic coming inbound. If there is, I'll have to take off from runway 09. So you can see there's some traffic. I think it's just departed. You can still plan for 09 at this stage. Get the route information.
Sierra XA, contact Adria radar on 124.6. Well done tonight. Bye bye. Have a fun.
124.6.
That's young Adam. So 09.
Yeah, it's actually Pula radar 124.6.
Pebble 1 whiskey. And then for Pebble, November 606. So even though I've requested 27, I've gone for 0.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. You could depart runway 27 in the next 5 minutes, so you have to wait for the arrivals to pass by on the runway 09.
And no problem. In that case, we won't be quite ready there. So we request departure clearance for runway 09, please. Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. So that's exactly how it could be in real life, because the AT are very good in reality. They can Pushback, sorry. They can...
Alpaca for Zulu uniform, when do you expect to be ready for departure?
I'll be ready in 8 to 10 minutes, Alpaca for Zulu uniform. Might still be able to get us out.
In that case, you could expect runway 27 for departure, if that's okay with you.
That's fine. Runway 27, ready to copy departure clearance, Alpaca for Zulu uniform.
Alpaca for Zulu uniform cleared to destination as filed via Pavel 1 Bravo departure. Initial climb 4,000 feet, runway 27 and squawk 5251.
Cleared to Zurich on the Pavel 1 Bravo departure, climb 4,000 feet for runway 27, squawk 5251, Alpaca for Zulu uniform.
For Zulu uniform, correct.
Perfect. So now we're at a time pressure, but you see how it works. I forgot to set the reset squawk here. Look, that's a much better one because we're heading off in that direction. We've saved the company about 300 or 400 kilos of fuel. It's a little bit more convenient for us. So we just got to make sure we're ready in 8 to 10 minutes, as we told him. So 4,000 feet. No big deal to change it in the FMC. We just simply, instead of saying 09, we select 27 and then the Pavel 1 Bravo. Easy as that. And I'll just get the Pavel 1 Bravo up in front of me. Excellent. And then we can carry on with the rest of the routing. ZIBO's not happy with that though. It shouldn't. It should. No, I might have to. Sometimes it can throw a bit of a wobbly when you change the departure point. That's not correct. It should do that. Let me bring Babag up here. That. It's worked, but it shouldn't quite display as it did, but we got it there. Quebec 333, Razia, Zulu 50, to Kelep. Now at the moment I'm planning for the Kelep 2 Golf for runway 16. Oops, I spelled Kelep wrong. Arrival, it's going to be ILS 16, Kelep 2 Golf, and what transition was it? I did make a note of this earlier. Gipol. Activate, executes. Oh, the doorbell's just gone. Mariana, can you get that? I hope my car's not been stolen. Yes, that looks about right. Right over the top of the airfield and outbound for Gipol. Perfect. There you go. Everyone now knows what my doorbell sounds like. Wonderful. Up we go over here then. Oh Christ, I forgot to load the fuel. So we'll take the same amount of passengers for the next sector. 596 tons. Let's take a bit extra as well, just to allow for any delays into Zurich. Let's just take an extra 15 or 20 minutes, 800 kilos. Let's go for 6.8 on the fuel. 6.8. Hello, Jack. Good. Oh, was she? Oh, she love that. Oh, I've got food, but ZIBO, I'm disappointed. Approach rating good. What was wrong with that approach? Speed 250 below 6,000. That was your fault. High rate to descend below 500 feet. High rate to descend below 1,000. Brutal, ZIBO. Landing was 5 stars at least. Oh dear. What did I say? The fuel 6.8, I think it was. Oh, no. You'll need fuel, guys. Excellent, 4.2. It's going up. Right, where were we? Up over panel. Fuel pumps on. That's all set. Seatbelt signs on. 360. Elevation in Zurich, anyone? Zurich. What is this song? It was sounding good, but it went a bit crazy. Let's skip. Zurich is 1,400 feet. 1,400 Forward entry is open. Excellent. So that's all set here. Flight directors can pop on, which they already are from the transit setup. So now taking off from the reciprocal runway, remember, runway 27, so don't forget to set everything up accordingly. Runway 27, slightly shorter taxi for us as well, so 264.
Good evening, Scandinavian 9er Kilo established on runway 09er, 6 miles from touchdown.
Scandinavian 9er Kilo,
Here
good
comes
evening,
the Scandies.
Tower, runway 09, clear to land, wind is 0,
Thanks guys for the elevation.
5 knots.
I was a little bit quicker,
Clear to land runway 09er, Scandinavian 9er.
And we still have the runway 09 SID here, so I just need to select the Pula, not the Pula, the Pebble 1 Bravo. So, RNAV SID, I believe. Climb straight ahead. No, it's not as conventional. 5 miles from Pula. So we'll set the courses as well, which we have. And then when we get to the Pula NDB 3515. I don't think we can do it to the 0.5. There we are, Papa Lima Alpha. We're going to make a right turn inbound to D18 from Pula, which is waypoint. What's this waypoint called? It's not actually that clear there. It just says Pula 18. Then we're going to go to Pebble via Victor Romeo Sierra. So I won't bother tuning the second NDB, but it's all there coded correctly. And we've got 4,000 feet for the stop altitude. 0 fuel weight set. Reserves for our alternate, which I think was Frankfurt for some reason, miles away, probably be at least Munich, but it's gone for Frankfurt, a whopping 3.2 tons. We definitely wouldn't probably divert to Frankfurt. Cost index 30, cruising at flight level 360. Execute, just not happy about something, steep descent somewhere. Cruise wind, top climb wind coming in now, 107 at 44. Top climb ISA is 5 degrees. Now performance, I do actually have a performance calculator here. There's a slight tailwind, so I'm going to go. Let's have a look here. I have a performance calculator. There is an emergency turn for runway 09, which we're not doing. So I'm just going to put runway 27 here at Pula. Dry. I'm going to use the Echo intersection, so we don't have to backtrack. So I have the performance data for this airport. I'm so sorry I can't show you because it's on my iPad. Oh come on, Habitat Airports. So we've got Echo intersection figures. That means we don't have to backtrack. So via Echo, what I'm going to do on the OPT is put a tailwind of minus 10 knots, and the outside air temperature, which is 22 degrees. QNH of 1019, and our takeoff weight, which is 62.5 tons. 62.5, and I'll tell you exactly what the OPT is giving me. Put the APU bleed on. Master caution dual bleed. OPT saying we can go reduce 22k, 90.8. Or 92.7. There's a slight discrepancy there. It should be bang on. And we can take an assumed temperature of 36 degrees. 36 degrees should be 90.8. 91.8. It's a 1% difference. It's usually bang on, so I don't know if the OPT's made some changes, or ZIBO has. 90.8, Emma phrase 1280. Perfect, and that should be the most optimal for a setting for departure there. So yeah, 0.1%. I'd rather have more than less, but that is what we've got on the mod there. Flat 5, V speeds are 35, 37, 43. They're all within a knot from the OPT. And we'll set 142 knots there. Right, guys, I think we're ready to go. Brief the taxi, brief the SID. You understand why we're using the other runway. It's a little bit more convenient for time. So what we'll do now is request engine start. Just before I do that, they will terminate, restart the flight leg. I'll imagine all the passengers boarded. I'm now going to close the stairs of the door, which I have been known in the past to leave open. Or shut the music off here in the background. There we go. So how do we do that again? Doors locked. How do I close them? Retract. There we go. doors closed. The air stairs magically disappeared. Perfect, so we'll request engine start. Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform stand for request engine start, runway 27.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform startup approved QNH 1019.
Start approved QNH 1019 at Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. Perfect, so air conditioning packs off, anti-collision light on, parking brake is set, transponder out of. Checks complete, starting engine number 2. Don't stand there, not good for your health. Excellent. There's the Scandi that's just landed. N2 25%. Stick the fuel in. Spar valve closed. Lights extinguished. Excellent. Guys, if you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. We've got to 522 likes. We've got 650 watching. Great to see a lot of you turning in here. The numbers are getting a lot higher now each stream. Even with the ZIBO mod, I think a lot of people appreciate how good X-Plane 11 still is. Yes, as Microsoft Flight Simulator is, I love the sim, really I do. And a lot of people will be going, oh, you're only streaming it because it's only just come out and you want the subscribers. I think it speaks for itself, speaks volumes. You've not seen how good it looks, and the general aviation stuff is epic. I am planning a few more bits and pieces. I've got a few early standbys this week, so I might do some GA stuff on some early morning streams if those of you in Europe aren't at work or school, or if you're perhaps in a certain other part of the world, might be able to enjoy something at a different time. Right, 2 stable, N2, N1, oil pressure 25%. Captain, you forgot to update the title. What are you referring to there, Lucas? Is there something I've forgotten to do? If anyone's noticed anything, let me know. That dreaded air stair dragging sound. Oh, from Pula to Zurich. What, at the top? Oh, the YouTube title. Yes, sorry. I only put Pula Zurich. Yeah, I need to update that to 2 sec today, of course. Yes. I understand now. I might do that, but I think I've updated everything I'm concerned with. Right, anyway, that's 1 stable, so 2 good starts. We'd still be talking to someone on the ground here. So if there's anything unusual, they'd bring it to our attention. Otherwise, we're all good to go. Flaps 5. Plant lower to you. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. I didn't set trim. 6 units. So obviously, in a desktop simulator, you know, in real life, there's 2 of us. We go into a lot more detail, checking the performance. We have to individually both do it. We cross-check our performance calculations, make sure they match. Obviously, in a desktop sim, I'm just punching straight in what we have of the OBT. So there's the flight controls, rudder, recall. There we are. We're all good, ready to go. We can now request taxi for runway 27. Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform request taxi.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform taxi to holding point 27 Echo.
Taxi holding point 27 Echo, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. Right, turn off taxi lights are on. We are clear, right, Jim? Yes, sir. Right, parking brake release config. No takeoff config warning horn. And we're on our way back to Zurich. So we're going to taxi here and make a left turn via Echo. We don't need to backtrack for runway 27 today. Oh, door command's still up. Lovely performance here. That's the one we want. So guys, let me know in chat as well. I mean, we are streaming live taxi as I make a right dog's dinner of this taxi. Would you prefer I stream again live, completely live as we are now, live time, live weather, Or would you perhaps want me to stream occasionally minus 12 hours live time? I've asked this many times before, but again, just an update on your preferences. I think when I'm on VATSIM doing VATSIM events, I like doing live time, live weather, because it's exactly as it is right now in real life. But sometimes, obviously, we obviously can't see the scenery outside, so it's a bit boring, but that's exactly how it is, you know. Unfortunately, as the nights draw in, there'll be less daytime availability. I've got a message from someone on VATSIM. What does this person want? Hi Captain, been talking to you via email 3 years ago. You've been accepted to flight school. Just wanted to thank you for your motivation you provided me. Excellent, Dua. I'm glad I was of a motivation to you, and good luck with your flight training. Have a safe flight on the network. Cool. Right. So we're down the parallel taxi, eh? Live unless GA, Flyo and VATSIM available, that's my only preference. Yeah, I always try and find VATSIM events now. Tuesday, it's always the same, I think, on VATSIM Zurich and Berlin. And then there's actually a really good website called, if you search on Google, VATSIM Mobile Monitor, I think it is, you can actually see where people are having ATC. I would never have, I don't think, chosen Pula if I didn't see that they actually had ATC here this evening. So I think a lot of people, I think VATSIM brings such a positive influence to the stream. It really lets me give you that extra kind of realism which we wouldn't have otherwise. Right, let's do the before takeoff checklist. So config we checked, flaps we have 5 and 5 for green light, stab trim 6 units set for departure. Takeoff briefing, PAX order bleeds on the V.
Correction, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, report ready for departure.
Wilco, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. V-speed set for departure, 36, 37 and 42. And we're now flying the, wasn't the other one now? The Pebble 1 Bravo, not the Pebble 1 Alpha. Pebble 1 Bravo, we're going to climb straight ahead to the Pula ND beam and make a right turn to the Victor Romeo Sierra ND beam and a left turn to Pebble. Stop climb 4,000 feet, set on the MCP. Any problems will climb straight ahead to the MSA in this sector, which is 3,000 feet. That's it. Imagine the cabin secure, and we are now fully ready for departure. Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform approaching Echo for runway 27, ready for departure via Echo intersection.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, runway 27, cleared for takeoff in this call.
Runway 27 cleared takeoff, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. So we've been cleared takeoff, calm winds, perfect. So auto throttle LNAV and weather radar can come on. Transponder to TAR8, perfect. So MCP is set. And transponder TARA, strobe lights are on as well, landing lights are on as well, we've got our takeoff clearance. We're all ready to go, guys. I've missed these streams, I really have missed them. You've got it, Cyber Shadow 81. Toga's in chat, guys. Let's start the timer. Excellent. So there's around 40%. Engine stabilised, looking sensible. Push Toga, set, takeoff thrust. Sorry. Don't have to worry about that in real life. Takeoff thrust, set indications normal. Light forward pressure on the control column. Oh, I'll get back on that centre line. Checked, release that forward pressure.
V1, rotate.
Rotate, up we go, 2 to 2.5 degrees per second. And we're airborne.
Positive rate.
Gears coming up, and trim. There we are, stop training now, we're on the flight directors. Looking good. See you later, Pula.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, contact Pula radar on 124.6, have a nice flight, bye bye.
Radar 124.6, thanks a lot for the great TTC, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, good night. Perfect, so
Thank
bug
you
up.
for your flight, good night.
Cheers. Right, bug up, there's N1. So I'm a little bit below the flight directors there. There we are. So don't start retracting flaps until the aircraft's at least accelerating. The flight directors are a little bit slow to come down. They should be a little bit more. There we are, now accelerating. We can select flaps 1. There's the right turn as we fly over the NDB. And wait until the 1 bug. Flaps up. Not recommended by Boeing, but you can engage it on the turn. It's because we are single pilot and I want to get departures tuned here. 125 9 no, what was the frequency? This is a problem with desktop sims. Flaps up, vertical speed. Right, come on Jim, what was the frequency? Wake up, man. Approach 1246 on a radar. I wrote it down but I can't remember where because I've got so many bits of paper. I'll wait for someone in chat to tell me. We can accelerate now to 250. So that's it. That's just me at max capacity there because I'm hand flying, trying to make down frequencies. That's why I want to get the autopilot in. Exactly, you could blame Jim. I think it was 1246 from approach. That's what you're saying there. Excellent. Yeah, I was only testing you guys. There we go. There's 4,000 feet. We can't go higher because that is the stop altitude.
Expect on off 09 taxi, Comlux 1.
Currently on this sector here, max 240 knots in the turn. Yeah, turn's complete, that's okay. Pull approach, hello again. It's the Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. Pebble 1 Bravo, maintaining 4,000 feet.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, radar contact 4,000, climb level 280, direct Pebble.
Climb flight level 280, jet to Bevel, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. Right, 280 checked.
4 Zulu uniform, would you like level 280, 300 for final?
Are we capped at flight level 300? Because I'd like to request flight level 360 available, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform.
Copy that, but there's no step climb in the flight plan, that's why. Nevertheless, when ready, you can continue climb level 360, Alpaca 4 Zulu.
I think I forgot to update that, sorry about that, and climb flight level 360, thanks for your accommodation, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. Excellent. So 360, I think on the flight plan I had it at 300, that's why you saw we had 300 there. Right, that's it. So VNAV set standard, he said direct to Pula, that's where Jim should be coming in, but we are PFPM today. Not Pula, direct to Pevel. Execute. On nav available. After takeoff checklist. Air conditioning and pressurization 3.0. Climbing. That's all set. Gear to up and off. Water brake to off. Altimeter standard set, passing 70, flight level 360. And that's it. After takeoff. Checklist complete.
2,500 at the gate.
Like, basically, I have a 2-monitor system here, guys, alright? And when I click Streamlabs, it's already highlighted the stream overlay, so I tried, when I do it, I click on the screen, it just activates the window. So, I had to cycle both of them. Streaming professional here, as I said. When I was trying to do it again, it was this. Alerts on. My days. Sorted. Are you a real streamer? We've done it now. There we are, look, now I'm a streaming professional. Maybe I should have that on a volume control or a separate volume control. Right, let's do the pre-cruise checks, passing 105 flight level 360. Fuel 4 pumps on. We've got 6.2 on board. Lights, logo can come off as well. APU's off. Pressurization 4.2. Set. Release the cabin crew. Should have done that on the after takeoff checklist. Leave passengers in. Recall. There we are. Pre-cruise checks are complete. Teal ahead. Sorry, new to this. No problem. Welcome on board. You probably noticed I'm new to streaming. Hope Smith, bro, do you ever stream? Not enough, it would seem. So if you're interested, guys, we're planning the full arrival. We should be touching down around 20 past 9 UK time. 50 minutes from now.
4,000 feet.
Brando, when do you set the N1 limit to continuous? Takes lots of situations, Brando. Typically, you select continuous if you would have an engine failure. That's the maximum continuous sustained thrust the engine can maintain. We can do it in the cruise as well in turbulent conditions too, just to make sure we've got that additional thrust if needed. If we get into a low speed situation, the autothrottle will command a higher thrust than it would do in cruise. So for example, we're in climb 2 now. You watch at 15,000 feet. Look, the N1 slowly increases until it reaches the target N1 97.4. Now I could delete it. You see it's gone 97.2, 97.3. Watch at 15,000 feet. It will go from full reduced climb to full climb. It always happens at 15,000. Look, climb 2, climb. There we are. And now it's going to maintain 97.6 until we get to the cruise. This might also slowly increase now as well as we climb. Thanks a lot, Mark Jackson, for the £2. Do you always engage both VNAV and LNAV before takeoff? Thank you very much for your question. Now, my operator, we don't use VNAV for departure, but many operators do. So, if you do use VNAV for departure, you just have to make sure prior to takeoff, you've populated takeoff page 2 with the engine acceleration height, the point at which you want thrust reduction, and the acceleration height. That's the point, remember, on my streams I bug up. If you want VNAV to do that, you need to tell the FMC where you'd like to do it. But at my operator, we use just LNAV or heading select as a roll mode, and we use the toga guidance. So when you engage the autopilot, what happens is level change engages, and then you simply bug the up speed. What an educational stream this has been, but it's been fun because when you ask questions, it refreshes me or allows me to have a good think about it. And sometimes you come in with an absolute corkers of questions, so I really have to go, ooh, I'll look that one up. So it's actually educationally beneficial for me. Can you fly the GLS approach in runway 14? Is there a GLS approach available? I've never actually flown one in real life. We're planning for runway 14, aren't we? There is a GLS approach for runway 14. I think it works in the mod.
Attacker for Zulu Uniform for information. In around 3 minutes there is crossing traffic level 328. It was supposed to come to be level 330, but the 328 it shouldn't be any factor with you, for you, but just be aware of it.
Out looking for traffic. Outback 4 Zulu Uniform. So it's crossing.
Uniform, thank you. Leaving our sector, monitor uniform 122. Thank you for flying and.
Perfect. 122.8 Alpaca 4 Zulu Uniform. Thanks for the great ATC, and we look forward to coming back again soon. Bye now. Bye now. Bye bye for now. Try and get it out.
Montego 227, clear visual approach on 27.
There we are, 122.8 is active. Where's the music from? Mark Jackson, I've got a new playlist now. It's called Chill Lounge Copyright Free. You can find that, I think, if you search on Google, and then I just download all the tracks individually into Streamlabs. And it's all copyright-free music, so music which allows me to be played on a stream. Who's the other voice, Teal Ahead? What you're listening to is an air traffic controller on the VACC network providing ATC. Oh, Matt Burgess, your sim crashed. Ah, sorry to hear that, buddy. Captain Jack, are you on Unicom often in real life? No, not over mainland Europe, where there's radar control everywhere. There's no such thing, really, in controlled airspace and the upper airways. Unicom in America we use occasionally, where there's vast amount of space and no coverage and stuff. Awesome. So there we are, right over the top of, this is where we just departed. Look, Pula in Croatia. I've shown you geographically where we are. There's Venice, right at the top, then we're going right over the Alps. There's Zurich here. Oh yeah, I was going to look at this GLS approach, wasn't I mean, I could try it. I think ZIBO's model GLS approaches channel 20242. I don't know much about them though, guys. So 20242. It could be interesting. I'll try it. I guess you guys would like me to try and show a GLS approach. Essentially, it's sort of like an RNAV approach, except we're using a kind of what's the best way of describing this? Like a virtual ILS. Liam T, you're holding at Zurich. Interesting. Okay. What runway is in use at Zurich? Because I might actually have a quick break before we get in there. Because I need to stretch my legs and have a bite of pizza. Runway 28 says Liam. All right. For landing as well. Brando, what is the amount of cargo luggage you carry on average in real life? Obviously, Brando, as stated, obvious depends on how many passengers you have. We call that traffic load. And typically on a full flight, traffic load around 15 tons, which is the weight of all the passengers and some baggage and crew on a 737. But baggage makes up around 2 tons of that on a full aircraft. Thanks a lot for the information, Liam. So it'll be runway 28 for arrival and a Kelip 2 Golf. Okay, we're planning the Kelip 2 Golf anyway, but for runway 28, which makes sense, I think, with the wind. No problem, Brando. That's what this stream's all about. Well, I guess that must be the preferred runway because the wind's calm in Zurich at the moment. So runway 28 and then departing 32. Yeah, I think that's the preferred sequence. Okay. Alright guys, well, whilst we're on the climb to flight level 360, I'm just going to take a very quick break because we're on Unicom. There's no ATC at this moment. And I'm just going to take a few bites of pizza whilst it's still hot. I thought I was going to get it to arrive around 9, but it would have been too late anyway. But guys, I'll be straight back with you in around 5 minutes. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all shortly. Thank you. Thanks a lot for that, guys. I've just munched down 2 large slices of pizza, which is very nice. Adam, if you're still watching the stream, I just got a message from Pula Approach, and if someone in Discord would highlight this to our young Adam, who's always Alpaca 16 Sierra X-Ray. Mirza said, you seem to be a really bright young kid with a promising pilot future. He does, he's incredible. He's a young lad, he's a young French kid who's a member, and he always, where he can, joins me on VATSIM for these flights, and he always sounds so good. He's very, very good on VATSIM. You know, he puts a lot of people much older than him to shame with his aptitude and his ability. So good for you, Adam. Obviously getting recognised. What pizza is it, Boz? It'll upset a lot of people. Hawaiian. I love a good old Hawaiian. Thank you very much, AJ90, for the 5 years. Very kind, sir. As I understand, I have to dial altitude on the MCP corresponding to the legs programmed in the CDU to let aircraft to change flight level accordingly. Thank you. That's correct, AG90. I guess you analysed that and had a look. And it's exactly how you work it. So if you look back at that RNAV approach we flew AJ90, what we do with the MCP, we step down according to the legs, which is from the charts, that information. And then we step down, and the autopilot, when it looks at the altitude, the MCP, this is the master altitude. So when you're in certain modes like level change, vertical speed, or VNAV, it won't descend below the altitude here. Certain situations, for example, setting the missed approach altitude, or if you're on an ILS with approach engaged, it will ignore that. But yeah, it's very important that you correspond each chart with that, or charted altitude with the MCP. Thanks a lot for the donation, buddy. Mixed views on the Hawaiian pizza, it would seem. Rick, what do you think will be better? The 737 flights and 2020 IFR flights, or X-Plane 11 IFR flights? Right now, X-Plane is where you want to be to fly commercial aircraft accurately, or prepared, I guess, because you've got things like the PMDG. You've got the quality wings for the 7.8, stuff like that. I don't know much about prepared because I never used it, but yeah, it's going to be. We'll have to wait patiently. I'm no doubt that Microsoft Flight Sim is going to have some cracking aircraft in time. There seems to be a lot of developers jumping onto the ball, but it's great. I think X-Plane has a future. I really do, and lots of tidbits coming up from Austin and the team about an X-Plane 12 and what it will have. But it's a great sim, powerful sim, and when it comes to flight dynamics, is it better? We'll see. When we get a 7.3 on there, we'll be able to compare. But X-Plane 11 hands down right now. It's I can tell you, if you want to fly a 7.3 dynamically with weather, external factors, lift, and all that, it's very, very nice. But Microsoft Flight Simulator certainly has the foundations. Looking forward for some great accurate replicated flight, it would seem. I love flying GA on that sim anyway. Right, how are we cracking? Anyway, approaching the Alps now. Unfortunately, as it is the middle of the night, we cannot see anything. And we're 68 miles from top of descent. I better get cracking. You're talking about professional pilots saying idle about 30 feet. Type in YouTube, guys. 737 landing tutorial PMDG. It's one of my most popular tutorial videos. It goes exactly through the landing technique, which you can apply in the ZIBO mod as well as the PMDG NGX. Flying the 7.3. Right, so a little birdie told me runway 28 for approach. Let's have a little listen to the ATIS. 125725. It wasn't working earlier on voice. I'll try on box 1 now. It shouldn't do. Why can't I tune 125725? ZIBO. Seems to be jumping. Look, 122, 123, 125. Ah! It's probably my. Ah! I saw it there for a second. There we go. Probably my mouse. Right. Still not working on the voice. Zurich information whiskey. I have it on text here. Departing runway 32, arrival runway 28, transition level 70, 1920 UTC for 28 minutes ago. It's wind calm, Cavalcade, 20 degrees, 1021. It is the epitome of a perfect evening. Calm winds, Cavalcade, can't get any better. QNH is set then, runway 28 for arrival. So, arrivals, we planned on 16, not a problem. Let's select ILS 28. And what transition are we going to have? It's the same arrival. ILS 28 uncategorized, interesting. Caleb 2 Golf. And we want to come in from, I guess, let's have a look at the arrival here. It comes in via Cloten. By Gipol. How's that going to work? Probably going to get a hold at Gipol, so I'm going to put Gipol transition for now. Steep descent, yes. So, Cloten, Gipol, Cloten. That's definitely not going to expect. So the Caleb 2 Golf, it finishes at Gipol. So what I'm going to do is leave that there, and I should think we're going to get a hold at Gipol. But that's it. If you're unsure, leave it and just confirm with ATC, and then we actually have some sort of a procedural approach, which I very much doubt will be flown for ILS 28. Might be wrong. Never been to Zurich. Thank you very much again, AJ90, for your generosity, €5 donation. What's the reason behind manual dialing of an altitude on the MCP with autopilot? Safety and precise control is the same at all times, or only specific to 737? Thanks. No problem, AJ90. So yeah, I mean, if you leave VNAV engaged, it'll comply with all these restrictions, which is great. But it's exactly as you said. It just gives you that extra level of security where, if VNAV, or perhaps you might not be in VNAV, let's imagine you forgot that you're in VNAV, you level change your vertical speed, you got distracted. By setting it on the MCP, you'll ensure the autopilot will level off at the correct altitude. So that's why we always set that on the MCP as well. I hope that answers your query, buddy. Thank you very much. So, arrival. Caleb 2 Golf. It really is going to be an adventure, because I'm not sure how this arrival, you see, it terminates here at Gipol. We're wanting to land on runway 28 in this direction, so looks like they're going to probably stick us in a hold at Gipol, and then we'll fly approaching to ILS 28. I have no clue. We'll see how it works, but again, we'd have, if we flew into this airport in real life, we'd have a detailed we have detailed guidance on what to expect from a certain direction. 10975 for the ILS. That is active. And of course this 274. Just going to make sure I'm watching 122 display here. 274 for the courses. Oh, this sounds like Zelda. Who used to play Zelda? Oracle of Seasons. I had that on Game Boy Color. What a game. Oh god, it sounds just like Zelda. Cat C. So, my goodness, Mr. Approach climb gradient 2.5. Now we'll do the 4% one. And the minimum is quite high here. Look, 668, 2084. So that's because of probably some obstacle terrain. So minimum's 2084, that's the altitude, that's 668, so this figure here, 4%, that's what you call missed approach climb gradient. You need to ensure that the aircraft has the performance single engine to achieve that. Which in most cases it should. You check that with a table or the performance calculation. Will Henwood Ocarina of Time was an absolute belter. I never played that. I just had Oracle of Seasons, but I loved it. So as the ILS tune, minimums are set. Let's put the Cloten VOR 1485. Lovely. Still got a while from top of descent. So I've done everything a little bit disjointed here in the wrong order, but I just wanted to get steep descent after Zulu Hotel 703. Why is that? 6,000. No, that's a little bug there because we're actually, VNAV's putting us at 7,000 and it's saying steep descent after that point there. And it's still saying 5,000 or above, so it shouldn't be an issue at all. That's a little bug. They're all at or aboves. Right, let's actually do this a little bit more in the correct order there. So charts, this is OFP number 2. Again, getting these winds in ensures VNAV gives you the best guidance. 310. It's looking, by the way, very busy in Zurich. I just had a look on the VATSIM maps. A lot of traffic there. It looks like a lot of aircraft holding too, so that'll be very exciting. .200, 159 at 26. 100, 261 at 1. Well, 261 at 1 is barely no point putting that in, but we shall. Excuse QNH. Oh, been asked to contact 12805, so we'll do that. 12805.
Tuning from Carlos 17, descending level 140.
Carlos 17, hello, Calip 2 Golf arrival, runway 28, descend.
That's the same guy still online.
220, runway 28, and for the start, again, this Carlos 17.
Lufthansa 741, contact Langen 127,
He's busy. Lucas, flight sim, do you prefer flying at night or during the day? During the day.
Lufthansa 1 Charlie Delta, correction, 1 Charlie, climb flight level 220. Climb flight level 220.
What was that QNH? 1021, that was it. I'll try and check in now. Radar, good evening, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, maintaining flight level 360 to Sopia.
Alpaca 4 Zulu Delta, correction 4 Zulu uniform, Calip 2 Golf arrival, runway 28, wind ready. 40 descend level 130.
Calip 2 Golf runway 28 when ready to descend flight level 130 Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. So that's when ready. So when you've been cleared when ready, all you need to do is set the altitude in the MCP, then allow the aircraft to descend automatically on VNAV. Well, if you guys have super good eyesight, I think if you look ahead, look at all the aircraft holding around Zurich. Can you see that? 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess they're holding at Zurich. There's certainly a lot of traffic on VATSIM, that's for sure. That's wicked. That's so good.
Yes,
Oliver Charles, what is your main base as a pilot? Again, my privacy I take very carefully. I'm a UK-based pilot, but I've flown all over UK, been based all over Europe in my tenure, and occasionally I still go out of base these days. Thanks, Will. Right, so descent page we filled in, fixed rings runway 28.
IGN 852, descend level 130, contact arrival 135225.
10 miles. 4. I'm not going to bother with the 3 times height ring because it's not going to be terribly accurate because we're not flying straight in, it's going to be all the way around here. Remember, we're going all the way back to Schiphol and back again, but I think we've got some sort of vectors or hold to expect there. Right, let's have a little bit of a brief for you here, guys. No, I didn't want to get rid of that.
Easy 85, correction 5, take for extra kilo, identified, climb level 380.
You know it is a chart, there we are.
Mike, Unicom 122, that's 78, bye bye.
122, that's my next Steamboat 99 Mike, many thanks.
Airports. Parking in Fur, and then more parking stands. So I'll just have that one for now. Right, so, sorry about that, guys, just getting sure everything's ready here. So we're routing currently direct to Kelip. We've already been cleared to descend when ready, flight level 130. Or we're going to Sopia then Kelip. From Kelip, you can see we're going to Mossit, Zulu Hotel 268. right over the top of Zurich at Zulu Hotel 267, then Cloten, which is on the station. We're going to make a left turn 276 to Schiphol. That's it. That's the end of the arrival at that point. Now, two things are going to happen. If it was quiet, we'd probably get vectored straight in for 28. But if it's busy, they're probably going to stick us in the hold here at Schiphol at 7,000 feet. Now, that's how it's coded, so that's all correct. You'll notice here it just goes to Cloten and Schiphol, and then we've obviously got the transition selected in the FMC, so you can see, look, it does a 180. Now what it would do in the real aircraft, it would do have some sort of loop here. Now obviously all it's done is a magenta line over the top of the other magenta line, but it should have a loop going round. And then what we've got here, look, is from the whole Schiphol beacon outbound, and then back onto the approach loop. So Cloten outbound Zulu Hotel 703 and into the ILS. So that's what's in the FMC. It's all coded. And then Ramen is the line slope interception point at 5,000 feet. So it's sort of like the routing's a bit unusual. We're over the station. It's unique to Zurich. Over the station here to hold at Schiphol. From Schiphol, then I'm going to get vectors or fly Schiphol this procedural approach in the opposite direction. So I hope that sort of makes sense. Aircraft's descending. Top of descent chat. And let's have a look at the air runway. Runway 28 then, the one we took off from earlier. Direct to Mosset, Alpaca to Croatia 4 Zulu uniform. We're already inbound to Mosset, so that doesn't make any difference to us, never mind. So we're on the arrival now. Yeah, landing performance then. It's 2,500 metres. We'll plan to vacate at Lima 7. We have got a landing performance calculator in the mod, but I'm just going to stick in 400 kilos difference, 59.9. I think that's about the same as we had into Pula. Again, AJ90. My goodness, coming with the questions thick and fast. Thanks again, buddy. Advice for unique content: how to land on nearest airport and perform landing in the middle of nowhere without a plan. For example, passenger ill. Thanks for answers. Good idea, AG90. My goodness, this has been proposed as a stream and a tutorial, so good idea. I'll have a look at it. Usually when it comes to non-normal situations, I'm quite careful when it comes to streaming those sort of things, because I don't want any colleagues of mine or perhaps professional pilots to look at that and use my guidance, so I've always been a bit careful with non-normal stuff. I've actually never done it on a stream. I've done some tutorials where I've got disclaimers left, right and centre, but I'll have a think about that. Thank you very much for the donation. Right, there we are. There is Zurich. There is the airport. Yeah, obviously a bit high for a straighted approach, but the way the arrival works is we're going to go over the beacon and then hold to the west of Zurich. Was that for? No, can't be going to 1-3. Cool. So flat 30 order break 3. We'll go idle reverse, it's the last landing of the night. Cool. So I'll try and keep you posted of what we're doing and how it's been flown, and we'll then do descent checks. Did you set your bank angle to 10 degrees? Yes. Damn it, you can replay the stream. No.
With radar, good. With 1272 passing flight level 100.
Dorian, do you fly for an airline? I'm in a computer airline. If you know, fly the world. We are, Dorian. I fly for Alpaca Airways. That's our call sign.
Ocean 59.
Ocean 59 with you.
Ocean 59, identified flight level 297.
Oh, he's just stepped on him there. So that controller, he's just obviously very busy, and I think he just tried to get the message out there, so he stepped on top of him whilst still transmitting. So we're actually going to be landing on this runway. Look, runway 28. So we'll hopefully be on finals soon enough. We'll find out what's going to happen to us later. Now, obviously, you'll be thinking, why have they built this arrival list? Well, obviously, don't forget the Alps are just here, so a straight in approach, you need to be a bit lower, and then the train's going to be in the way, which would be a big problem.
56, startup approved, report, ready for departure.
So VNAV's gone to FMC speed, well VNAV puff's still engaged, the order throttle's gone to FMC speed just to bring it back to the target speed there.
Cardiolux 170, send level 130.
Can you fly to Australia in Microsoft Flight Simulator in a stream? Yeah, I've got loads of plans for Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it will generally be sticking to general aviation or some IFR general aviation and on VACC where possible. But I might take a crack at one of those VFR flights into 2 parts, like a 2-part 4-hour stream with one of the bush adventures. I think that would be quite good fun. But I might do that on one of the days next week because I'm on early standpoint.
Basel on the ILS runway 15.
Swiss 116, thank you.
There we are, so about to cross right over the top of Zurich. There it is. Looking good. So once we're about to Jipol, I'm going to ask him, can we expect to hold a Jipol, or can we expect vectors? We've still got a little bit of a way to go. But that's how this arrival goes. Just sends us off towards Jipol. So we're going to be Jipol in 3 minutes.
With 1272 requesting direct wing.
1272, fly direct wing now.
With 1272, fly direct wing.
Sad you couldn't see the senior on the stream, the flight approaching the Alps over the lake. It would have been epic, I know, Gordon. But for realism, live time, live weather.
Caleb 195, ready climb, fly 332, set up.
Climbing 320, Caleb 195.
Our radar, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform inbound to Jipol now. Can we expect hold at Jipol?
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform negative, contact arrival 135225.
135225, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform bite. Perfect, so now we'll find out what is going to happen to us.
Just took off from Innsbruck, flight level 155.
So I'm just going to add a bit of thrust manually here, just to get back up to our target speed. FMC speed comes in when you're 15 knots below your target speed. Zurich arrivals, good evening, it's Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, descending flight level 130 inbound Jipol.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, Zurich arrival, good evening, expect Alice approach runway 28, hold at Jipol to reduce in altitude.
Hold Jipol, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, expecting ILS 28. So we are going to hold. So, hold a Jipol, here's the scheduled hold, holding to over Jipol, 078. Right head turns, max speed 230 knots, maximum flight level 240, which we're already below. So what we're going to do is go level change. I'm going to bring the speed down to 230 knots, which at this altitude is just about okay, and then we'll enter the hold.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, be advised maximum speed in the holding 230.
Reducing now speed 230 knots, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. So 078 right hand turn, standard holding at this altitude, minute and a half. Execute. Legs, holding at Jipol. Lovely. Beauty of a FMC. The ZIBO mod holds beautifully. It looks at your inbound heading, so this direction here, it's going to be a parallel entry. It'll do the correct entry, direct parallel offset. It's really, really nice. So here's your VNAV profile. Now, whilst you're holding, don't be too obsessed with getting low, you know, unless they tell you, yeah, you can expect once around the hold. We're 3,000 feet high, but if we go down quickly, that means we're going to have to add thrust sooner, it's less efficient. So we'll just keep it going down nice and gently in level change. And then if they clear us off there, we can always use speed brake to accelerate.
954, left heading 160.
There you go, that's just to show you how busy it is on Zurich this evening. You've got traffic holding here. Traffic departing. They've also got plenty of aircraft coming into Zurich here. Remember, we had an additional 20 minutes of fuel. I don't know if it's modelled here, but you can put in your... if you've got an estimated approach time, you can punch that in here. You should get your hold available. Basically, that's the amount of time until you get to your final reserves, or your reserve figure in the FMC. I don't think that's modelled. The aircraft should at least hold correctly. Yanis, would you use VNAV or vertical speed to step down in the hold? I wouldn't use VNAV because VNAV will still dive for that profile. I'm just using level change. I could use vertical speed 1,000 feet per minute if I was to expect to hold for a long time. I'm just going to do once around the loop, and then I'll ask him, you know, how long can we hold for? Do you have an estimated approach time? Awesome stuff. Great to still see 600 people in here. I hope you're all doing very well. We are on the approach into Zurich. We are going to hold, so we're probably not going to be landing in around 20 minutes, probably 20-25. Hopefully get a bit more information from ATC shortly. It's very quiet. Let's go, someone said. MH8 minimum holding altitude. So in this case, 7,000. Can't hold any lower than that.
Condor 954, turn left, heading 1.
Good call on the extra fuel, says Bo Madden. Yes, that's what I was actually going to show you. So, I mean, we had alternate for Frankfurt. I mean, I'd actually want to change my alternate to Munich, but if landing's assured at destination, you can do something called diverting to your destination. I know it sounds a bit funny, but you can use that additional fuel to divert to get into an airport like Zurich, and this would be great because you've got 3 runways available. So if the worst case happens, someone blocks the runway, you've still got another 2 available. So I'd actually, you know, you could consider diverting to your alternate if it got to that situation. So your new reserves would become your final reserve fuel figure. But we could hold here with that based on that information for 45 minutes.
Oscar Kilo, Quebec Hotel Charlie. Zurich arrival, good evening. Expect pilot approach.
You can see, look, our line from our first sector, look. It just shows you how accurate it is. Look, that was the routing outbound. Look at our line on the way in, it's like literally right on top of each other. Down we go. So now I'll go vertical speed 1,000. And I'm going to bring the speed back a little bit now. 230 knots, remember, is the maximum holding speed. Not depicted on the arrival chart, but there we are. On the ILS chart.
954, turn left, heading 085.
So now on the outbound leg for the hold. Well, now if we're doing a direct entry, so it should now go direct to Schiphol and then outbound. Will Henwood, question, when do you know when the hold is 1 minute or 1.5 minutes? 14,000 feet, below 14. Oh, is it 14? Is that speed? 230 knots, I think it's 14,000 minute and a half.
There are 2 stations calling BH Airline 1 Alpha Bravo, confirm.
William Harris, hello sir, I've asked this last stream but it got lost in chat. Under what circumstances would you use back course button on certain autopilots? I've never flown that, William. A back course is I think you find the localizer in the wrong direction. I've never flown one. It's not common in Europe. I've never flown one. So there's the parallel entry, now routing direct to Schiphol. As soon as I overhead Schiphol, we'll fly right downwind for the outbound leg.
Morning, Cargo 17, holding over Schiphol, destination 140.
There's no one holding. So he's talking on VATSIM, look. Cargo Lux 17, he's about to enter the hold with me.
Uniform descent flight level 100.
Descent flight level 100, Alpaca 4, Zulu uniform. So 100 checked. There's Cargo Lux. He's coming straight towards us to enter the hold. Well, hopefully not straight towards. Well, he's only 500 feet above us.
Hotel Charlie, descent flight level 110.
Issue with separation here. Interesting. Could be quite close. So he's descending at around 1,000 feet per minute. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, he's 600 feet above. I think he's at 130. There he is. There's a 747.
Downwind, runway 28.
So that's very good. That's a TA. Yeah, that probably would trigger a TA. Now it's okay. He's maintaining 140 by the looks of it. So it shouldn't say for a TA ZIBO. It shouldn't say clear of conflict afterwards. It's only after an RA. And there's a cargo. Looks, I guess 747. Awesome stuff, look. Yeah, about to enter the holder chip on the other.
Uniform, turn right heading bomb 20 vectoring ILS, runway 28.
Riding 120 degrees, vectors ILS 28, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. Wonderful. There's heading select 120, so we can exit the hold now. What I'm going to do is just route direct to a suitable waypoint. Looks like we're going to head left-hand downwind, but all I'm going to do now is select send Defix 28. Execute. And then we're going to make ourselves a little waypoint here. So Centrifix 28 going to be vectored to the south. So 274 minus 90 is 184. So what I'm going to do is make a waypoint just to the south of this point here. 184 /4 CF28. There you go. I've made myself a little waypoint here to route towards. There you go, and it's just about manipulating the FMC to give you the best possible guidance for VNAV. Now I'm just setting in vertical speed at 1,000 feet per minute. We'll speed up to 230 knots now. Actually, let's do 250. In real life, is sterile cockpit when below 10,000 feet or start of descent? Start of descent. So the cruise phase is the only part which is non-sterile. So technically I shouldn't be chatting away to you right now. Is performing holds even possible in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020? I haven't seen it in the FMC and A320. Yeah, the Microsoft Flight Simulator of the commercial jets are just default aircraft. They have nowhere near the level of in-depth modelling which you get with the ZIBO mod or other comparable payware aircraft.
1,000 to go.
That's why I love the ZIBO mod so much, because it's free and it's a cracker. I mean, you must ask, you know, don't get me wrong, I've said this so many times, the PMDG is excellent, it really is. But there's something about the ZIBO mod and being involved with the project now, providing feedback for 2.5 years, it's just very magical. The fact that this is available for you to... Guys, if you're watching, you know, you could go purchase X-Plane 11 now, $56. Download X-Plane 11 free, and there you go. You got a very accurately modelled 737 to fly.
Turn left heading 050.
Rick, can you explain how to make custom waypoints? If you have a look at the video 2 minutes ago, I did just demonstrate it, but I guess you'd like a bit more in-depth detail. Again, type in YouTube, search 737 FMC tips and tricks. I have a tutorial which shows you how to create custom waypoints and a few other little tidbits here and there. Right, let's do the post-cruise checks. Lights, logo, APUs off, pressurization 3.0. All set. Seatbelts on, recool. Checks complete. And we're just about approaching downwind for runway 28. Alloc Aviation, how come you don't have Microsoft Flight Sim 2020? I do, because have a look at my last 10 live streams.
Airlines 1 Alpha Bravo, turn right heading 250, clear out as approach, runway 28, report established.
And I can just route direct to that waypoint I created.
Good Nova, power 453.
There you go.
Airline 1 Alpha Bravo, turn right 150, and report when established on ILS 28.
You should check out the fly-by-wire A320NX mod. I've heard about this. It's a sort of a ZIBO-esque attempt at the default Airbus in Microsoft Flight Simulator. But let's hope that those guys make it into a kind of a ZIBO equivalent. But bear in mind, the ZIBO is...
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, speed 210 knots, descend flight level 70.
Reducing speed to 210 knots, descend flight level 70, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. So 70, check level change. The reason I'm using level change because I want to actually slow down at the same time at the speed requested by ATC. VNav, again, will only pitch to the path, it won't really care too much about the speed.
Turn left heading 290, speed 180.
What do you mean by ZIBO mod? What the ZIBO mod is, Roy-Key12, ZIBO is a incredibly intelligent individual who's taken the default 737 that ships with X-Plane 11 and he's made it into a very accurately modelled version of the real aircraft with all the systems accurately modelled, the FMC, everything. So it means that when I fly the ZIBO mod on stream like I am now, you know, I'm a 737 pilot in real life, I can replicate real world procedures with unparalleled realism. That's why I use it.
453 Zurich arrival, hello, hold it, keep all as published.
Hold it, keep all as published, power 453.
Condor 905, 40 and 5,000 feet, clear hours approach, runway 28, report established.
Descending to 5,000 feet and cleared for the ILS.
Lovely. I'm really enjoying tonight. It's just like being at work in a weird way.
Uniform, turn left heading 090.
Left heading 090 degrees, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform.
Early 3725, you have not been cleared for the descent. Stop to your descent at flight level 130.
Someone's in trouble. Altitude bust.
Actually, I have been cleared for 130. Descent structure 120 at 725.
You're showing now 126, so check your altimeter settings. Standard pressure 1013.
Such a point. We should be still
here. Level 100.
Where's the transition level on the ATIS?
Oscar Hotel Charlie, turn right heading 180.
Transition level 70. Forgot to update that, excuse. Now it will go green again, yay! Excellent. So downwind now, should be touching down in around 5 minutes.
Airlines 1 Alpha Bravo, contact tower 118.1.
Airlines 1 Bravo, 118.1, establish an ILS.
Is that Morgan Freeman? Why do you love streaming? Towers on standby. So guys, yeah, I'm on a radar vectors at the moment, which is how typically 95% of approaches are flown into international airports like this. And our job of the radar control is just to get us into a position on final. He's responsible to making sure we're all clear of terrain. And approaching 1 to go.
Condor 954, reduce to minimum approach.
70, so 1 to go.
That's gonna go.
Checked. Yeah, we did brief the missed pressure. Initial climb to 4,000, climb straight at 2.5.
Charlie, reduce speed to 18.
Pass the station left, max 210 knots on 2194. Fakes the eyes fire. I've got the pings muted. How do you read donations in the real plane? Fakes the eye fire. Over the PA of VHF one as well. Thanks a lot, buddy, for the continued support.
Approach Oscar 155 with information X-ray, type Boeing 77, leveling at flight level 130 and bound runway 34.
Oscar 155 on runway 28 in use, expect runway 28, hold at Amiki.
Uh-oh, he'll be upset, he's expecting a different runway.
28, hold at Amiki.
So hopefully we'll get a turn onto base soon.
Hotel Charlie, turn right
But it looks like someone's just beating us to it. You can see the traffic just on TCAS. Connection out. Nope, we're still being cleared to descend to a flight level. So 70, that's standard set.
Condor 954, contact tower 118, small one. Be landing.
The pod's a little bit jumpy. Look, if you're a foot above 7,000, it does stick to standard.
Descent structure 725.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, turn left heading 360.
Left heading 360 degrees, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform.
Austrian 155, descent flight level 90.
So heading north.
0, Austrian 155.
Cargo looks 170, descent flight level 70.
Going on the base leg now. Localizers there, we've got the ident for the ILS. India Zulu Whiskey. There's India Zulu Whiskey. It's great. You can also listen to Nav1 if you want to get the voice ident. There's no need. If you have the ident 3-letter code there. You can hear it in the background.
That's India Zulu Whiskey in Morse code.
Charlie established VOR runway 28.
VOR approach runway 28.
Charlie, Roger.
Why standard amber? Because we've got 70 set as the transition level in the FMC.
Speed 160 to 180.
But we are maintaining flight level 70.
Cargo looks 17, turn left heading 090.
Left
So there's Zurich. We are number 2 to this guy. So you can see, look, it's I'm not sure how it should be actually modelled. You don't often level off at the transition level, but I'm pretty sure the real aircraft, it doesn't turn amber immediately. You're a foot below 70.
Heading 160.
There's an easy way to fix it. Just stick 6.5 in here.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, descend 6,000 feet, QNH 1021.
Set altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 1021, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. So 6,000 checked. Medical speed, set QNH 1021, passing 7,200 for 6,000 feet. Standby altimeter is set. I'm going to extend the centre line. A lot of people always ask me how to do that, so this is what you do. Take the waypoint you want to extend from, bring it to the top, and then put the final approach track or whatever the course is. 274. Execute. That's for you, Richard, if you're watching. There you go. Nice long magenta line extended from the centre.
Uniform, turn left heading 290, speed 180 knots.
Just realised I forgot to put the. I turned.
Uniform, left heading 290, speed 180 knots.
I think that was me. Left 290 and reducing speed to 180 knots. Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. A professional streamer. Speed checked. Flaps 1.
No speed restrictions. 118.1. Oscar Pop Charlie, thank you.
Vertical speed then. Just going to maintain that with glide slope. There's flap 1. ZIBO, the flap extension speed sped up, I think. I don't think it's quite as quick as that. Flaps 2.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, descend to 5,000 feet, clear ILS approach, runway 28, report established.
So actually at 5,000 feet, we're now fully established. ILS 28, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, flap 5. Cool. Glide slope capture. He sounded like he was cross. Missed approach altitude. Initially climbed to 4,000 feet.
Scanson Quebec, circle arrival, allow, hold a keep, hold, descend level 120.
Nice. Continuous descent. All in.
Cargo looks 17, turn left heading 360.
Adam's showing me up on the comms. I know. Lack of capacity to listen to and stream.
Heading 085, power 453.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform confirmed established ILS 28.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform.
Perfect. So you can see how the speed is rock steady at flat 5. Should perhaps be a little bit draggier, but at this gross rate it's coming back slowly. It's not far off what I'd expect.
178, descend 5, level 100.
Why is the approach light not illuminated? That's because that light does not mean it's the illuminated mode. Often confused here. Glide slope capture, the light extinguishes. That light just means it can be deselected. Did I miss him again? No. See, that's why my answer questions in chat and I just miss ATC.
190 and expect runway 28 vectors and sample level 70. Oscar 155.
155, heading.
Oh, I like everyone in chat going, ah.
Oscar 170, Oscar 155.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, no speed restrictions.
Free speed Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform.
Cargo looks 170 and 6,000 feet, QNH 1021.
So we're told to maintain 180. 6 miles separation, 7 miles looking good. So hopefully we'll get transferred to tower before we get too close.
King 41 X-ray, Zurich arrival, hello, hold at Amiki, descend level 120.
Why can't it be selected? Because you have to push Toga or turn the flight directors off. It's the only way with the glide slope. You asked me very deep questions. Maybe you should ask Boeing those sort of things. But the approach, the only way to get off of the ILS is to push Toga or turn your flight directors off or detune the ILS.
Austin 155.
You're going to transfer me to tower? Or...
10, Oscar 155.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform approaching 5 miles.
Roger, continue.
Okay, is he gonna transfer me to tower at some point? I need to start configuring now, it's a bit early, but everything's going to happen at once otherwise. Get down, flight 15. Turn the music off here. Start switches, continuous. Recall checked, speed brake on, green light, landing gear. Down to green, order brake is set to 3. And holding flaps. Unless tower's gone offline, but I'm see tower's still on over that.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, contact now tower 118.1, happy landing.
Tower 18.1, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, see ya.
And we have X-ray information on board.
Very, that's a very late handover from approach. Right, flap 30. So flaps, we've got 30 green light, just waiting for our landing clearance for runway 28. Tower Day, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, ILS 28, approaching 2 miles.
500.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform, Wincom, runway 28.
Approaching minimum.
Runway 28 clear to land, Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. Late landing clearance, but we're in. Lights on, checks complete. Right, let's have some fun. Checks, disconnecting. All the throttles off as well. So 2 reds, 2 whites, profile's looking good. Again, perfect conditions. No wind. Checked. One of the things X-Plane lacks is, you know, it is no wind to be fair, but you'd expect a little bit of turbulence or ground eddies or something like that. The speed can jump up and down a little bit there. Cool, those lights look close.
Ready for takeoff, runway 32.
Ooh, don't say ready for takeoff. Checked. Check. Close. Just hold that attitude.
Runway 32, clear for takeoff.
Oh, where is it? Oh, minus 20! Oh, blimey! Wow! That's got to be some sort of record for sure in the ZIBO mod. Look at that! What a butter! I challenge anyone to land in Zurich. Get a minus 20. 60 manual braking. Oh gosh, I did say I'd go idle reverse. I was so excited. That is very buttery. Right, well there's an exit here on the left. Let's take this one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zurich with a minus 20. Wow. That is just absolute. Oh crikey! Look, bit of smoke coming back off the engines. I hope this is an actual official taxiway I've vacated. It's very quiet.
Was that cross runway 28, Swiss 21 Juliet Tango?
My goodness. I'm so excited. I'm getting Windows error messages because I'm not looking at the screen. Right. So, let's just grab a taxi chart here.
Yeah, Lufthansa 2200.
Yeah, I'm definitely not on. It's modelled not as concrete. It's modelled as grass in the sim because I'm not moving. Look. Cool. As soon as I've vacated, we'll contact ground. Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform vacated. Lima 7.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. Continue taxi. Lima hold short 3-4.
Lima hold short 3-4. Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. Perfect. So 3-4 is the next runway straight ahead. So I'm going to go in a straight line here. I'll start cleaning up now. So flaps are up. Speed brakes away. Auto brake to off.
Taxi gate Alpha 0 for November
4100. This can go.
Zurich Tower, Swiss 21 Juliet Tango. We cross 28 for further taxi.
Swiss 21 Juliet Tango. Yep, but you turned.
Oh dear.
Next to the left, hotel 3, hold short 3-2.
Lovely. What a butter.
Where's that? We'll go hotel 3-2.
Thanks. I'm just trying to get the taxi charts up for these guys. There we are. So here we are. Cleared. Thanks. Thanks, X-Plane. So here's runway 34. We're going to continue here and then hold at this runway.
Congress 17, Zurich Tower, good
Lovely.
evening. Wind Zurich calm, runway 28, clear to land.
It's very loud, this controller.
Yes, I 4 Delta Golf, contact departure 125, stand by
Perfect.
Contact departure on frequency 135.
So here comes the whole point. Light, someone said, very good. Just testing you. Here's Echo. Runway 34, so I just checked to Mariana there.
225 CSA 4 Delta Golf. Thank you, bye bye.
And then here's the whole point for runway 34, so this is as far as we can taxi.
Jet 21, go ahead.
So parking brake set. And we'll probably need a more detailed stand for parking. So there's 34, this is active runway. We'll mention to him we're holding. He's busy.
Who has called for taxi?
Absolutely frictionless land, he said, 2 tons of love. Butter, that was wet ice on glass smooth.
There is at the moment no space for VF.
Just killing it like I know, a -50 and a -20. And I haven't actually done any practice or anything like that. I've flown the ZIBO mod in ages. So, just tell him we're holding here at Lima as soon as I get a chance.
Oscar 155 is on the final runway 28.
So I guess there's no ground online here.
Becoming number 1.
Yeah, there's no ground, so poor Tower is having to give everyone their landing clearances. Look at them all queuing up here in Zurich. Look. 1, 2. He's having to do clearances as well, so this controller is very busy.
Lufthansa 2 Alpha Echo, request Alpha clearance to Munich.
That's a short flight. He's going to get a big flyhead to go with the big flies. Behave yourself, Anthony. William Berkeley, what yoke are you using? I'm using a Thrustmaster joystick.
Where's that runway 32, clear for takeoff. 21 Juliet Tango. I'll give you now,
So busy. As soon as I get a chance, guys, I'll talk in. But that poor controller is having to do everything.
Austin 155, minute call, runway 28, clear to land.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform holding short 1634.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform crossing at 34 approved. Via Econ Mike taxi gate Bravo 41.
Clear cross 34 Echo Mike gate Bravo for stand 41 Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. Yeah, good luck to you tonight. He looks super busy.
Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. It's Bravo 38. Sorry for that.
Bravo to gate Alpaca 4 Zulu uniform. No problem. Good night. Perfect. So I'm going to cross here and go over to gate Bravo stand 41. So it's basically just a straight line, guys. Let's just have a show you here. Oh, my ears! There's not the wrong chart.
Okay.
I can't see where I'm going. No, not that one. Oh, this is so hard taxiing across an active runway and making sure I've got the right charts for you guys. No, it's not that one either. It is, it's just right on this corner here, look. So I'm going to go in. So coming in straight off November and then gate Bravo for stand 41 is straight ahead there. So he just went in a straight line basically. God, it's so loud.
Good 719, your number 4, please stand back.
Okay. Bravo 41 straight ahead, there it is. That pilot is enjoying a nice microphone dinner, he is. So we'll shut down engine number 2 now, let's have a bit of fuel. Transponder to out off for now. Oh my goodness me, are we off-roading right now? Look at that! Crikey, he needs to chill. So we're stand 41, it's a bit tight, so hopefully Virgin Australian is 787 will hold short.
Via Papa and hold short 280 Papa Bravo Whiskey.
178, wind calm, runway 28, clear to land.
There we are.
Runway 28, clear to land, distance 7.
Very, very close to this aircraft.
Zurich Towers for 21 Juliet Tango.
I'd be a little concerned perhaps for a little bit of a wingtip strike, but we'll take it.
For sure, that will wait. Airbus 17.
Oh yes, look at the gate guided saying point left, love it. Boeing 738, it's so realistic. Love it. Idle. That's very nice. It's so cool. Seniors from Aerosoft, guys, if you are interested. Oh, it's not saying stop though, just disappears. Well, that'll do. Parking brake set. If you can go on the bus. 2 blues, 1 red, engines are dead. Superb. Right, let's just mute VACC here in the background. We'll keep it online for us a second longer. Right, let's do the full shutdown checklist. Fuel pumps, fasten seatbelt sign off. Packs off. Electric hydraulic pumps off. Window you can come off now. Isolation valve open. Transponder 2000 and standby. And N2 is below 20%. Anti-collision light can now come off. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zurich, and here comes the air bridge as well, now working properly. What a fun flight that was. Amazing. 2 great sectors. X-Plane 11 still going strong. What a sim, guys. And I know there's a lot of hype around Microsoft Flight Simulator, but if you're wanting to fly commercial aircraft right now, this is still the sim to go to. And no discredit to Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's a great sim, but boy oh boy. It just makes you realise how good the ZIBO mod still is. Amazing. What a great evening it's been. Let's have a look at the laddie comments. These are always amusing. Replay. Yes, we'll definitely do a replay, don't worry. Nice. A kiss. Wow, wow, wow. We've done some absolute bangers in the past, but that was 2 very buttery laddies today. But as I must stress, it is not the criteria for safe landing. It's just for a bit of fun on Flight Sim. So if you were an ex-student of mine for the sim, you'll know I certainly wouldn't say such a thing. 11 out of 10 would fly ZIBO again, said Listerman. Amazing. Have you flown on a 737 MAX? I haven't. Awesome stuff. Right, well, let's kill the music then on box 2, and we'll definitely look into the replay. Really thoroughly enjoyable stream this evening. It's great to be back in the ZIBO mod. You know, keep me posted. Leave in the comment section below after the video. Yeah, I want more ZIBO mod, or no, could you do the Microsoft Flight Simulator / ZIBO streams? I certainly enjoyed doing an exclusive ZIBO stream, and the channel will always be revolving around operating a 737 for sure. But anyway, let's now log off the VATSIM network. Disconnecting, there we go, and cue the funky replay music. There we are. That's why I jump back into the sim here. Sim, there we are, 3 hours 41 minutes we've been running. What a butter. Let's have a little look at that from this point here. Shame it wasn't runway 14 because we were hoping to demonstrate a GLS approach, but no doubt we'll have an opportunity to do that at some point. Here it is from the whole point. I hope there'll be a ZIBO in the 737 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. It'll be too choipy. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, look, 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 look. Oh. Oh, it could have been even softer, I fear. I don't think we'll get a -20 anytime again soon. We did a -20 in a light aircraft once, and I was absolutely thrilled, but to do it in ZIBO mod, amazing. I mean, look, didn't even know you touched down. If only I could do that in real life. Let's have a look here from the tower view. Wonderful. I mean, look. Oh, just superb. Very, very happy indeed. Right then, guys. So, That's it. Another X-Plane 11 ZIBO Mod 2 sector stream ticked off. Very happy indeed to be back in X-Plane 11 flying the ZIBO Mod. I'm certainly looking forward to flying it a lot more, as you ever will and always will do in the future. Channel-wise, next stream, again, I cannot give you anything concrete, but I'm hoping to do something perhaps at the weekend, maybe early afternoon. I am on standby. I am back to work in a couple of days' time. I've also got my sim check to prepare for as well. Channel-wise, as I've mentioned last few streams, we have got Concorde and the A300 coming up as well. I just need to sit down and take the time to learn those aircraft, but whilst I'm at work, I just haven't got the time at the moment, but things are looking to get a little bit quieter at the end of the month, so we'll be doing a few more frequent streams than we have been recently. Otherwise, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, don't forget to subscribe as well to stay up to date with the latest content. To everyone that donated today, thank you very much for your generosity, to all my members for the continued support as well. And guys, make sure you keep a look on the social media feeds. I'm going to go finish my dinner, my pizza, which is probably all cold now, but I'll catch up with you all soon for another live stream. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye for now.